Yep, that guy is Lu Ming. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this. There I was, 25, stuck in my parents' house, literally asking an AI chatbot how to spend unlimited cash. Wild, right? Let's rewind 3 days when I was just a normal guy surviving in Shanghai. Working media for 8,000 yuan monthly. Sounds decent until math hits. Rent takes half, food grabs a quarter, and the remaining cash literally just vanishes. Like my poor savings account seriously rejected money. Couldn't even buy takeout without checking 3 separate apps for coupons. Pure tragedy. Then the doctor dropped an absolute bombshell on me. Blood pressure off the charts at 25. I had to stop. Basically, my exhausted body was officially quitting, whether I actually liked it or not. So, I finally called Mom, said I was coming home. Her pause? It held a massive, heavy novel of pure disappointment. At least she did not hang up. Home means Yunming County, a super tiny place down in southern Henan. 60-something thousand residents, 0 bullet train access, the absolute fanciest spot in town, a super cheap milk tea shop. Beef noodles cost practically nothing. Dad cracked open some 15 yuan liquor, straight from a plastic jug looking like actual engine coolant, then flat out asked if I had completely failed at my own life. I just drank that liquor, made zero reply. Now watch closely. Day 3, my screen blacked out mid-scroll. Suddenly, glowing golden text flashed county consumption gold system, fully activated. Thought my brain broke. Population times 100 equals daily payout. Yunming County population? 600,000, 247. Today's deposit? Over 60 million yuan. I opened my banking app with completely shaking hands. That insane 8-digit number sat perfectly right there in my personal account like an absolute boss. Sneaking to an ATM at 2 a.m. like a criminal, I withdrew 100 yuan, held it under a streetlight and flipped it 17 times. Real watermark, authentic texture, actual cash. Then I aggressively tested those rules, because catches always exist. Bought milk at the local market. Success. Ordered the county's finest braised chicken rice with an extra drumstick for 18 yuan. Approved. Bought an online streaming membership. Declined. Ordered a jacket shipped directly to Shanghai. Declined. Transfer cash to my investment portfolio. Huge, fat decline. That money only works inside Yunming. Step 1, single foot outside the county border and my 60 million becomes useless paper. Let me clearly paint this hilarious picture for you. I have 60 million yuan daily, stuck somewhere. The absolute priciest apartment costs only 4,000 yuan for every single square meter. I could easily buy 100 houses before lunch, keeping enough leftover cash to install solid gold toilets in every single one. Sitting on a riverside bench watching grandpa's fish, I suffered a complete existential crisis during the absolute best weather I had felt in years. That is exactly when I asked the chatbot what to do with literally unspendable amounts of cash. It sarcastically suggested paying the clouds and the trees. Then it told me to pay my taxes. Finally, matching my vibe, it literally said, "Just kidding, bragging is completely tax-free." Super helpful. Thanks. But here is where things escalate. You and I both know nobody reads the fine print, right? This system hit a tiny, almost invisible gray note. Reaching 1 million residents inside Yunming triggers a massive special county reward. A full-blown system upgrade for hitting 1 million people. I had 600,000. I needed 400,000 more humans moving somewhere totally, lacking even a basic train station. I stared blankly at the fishing grandpas. I glanced back at the super narrow street. A 3-wheeled farming truck carrying cabbages slowly puttered past, leaving a tiny exhaust cloud acting like a wonderfully said goodbye kiss. 400,000 people relocating here? The peak evening entertainment is literally watching that exact cabbage truck drive past. I thoughtfully typed to the AI chatbot, "Those clouds lack bank accounts. That remains a problem." The AI instantly replied, asking if I was basically going to give that cash to it. I replied, "No, seriously. If you had unlimited funds, but could only spend them inside a tiny rural county, what would you actually do?" It responded, "Buy land, build factories, develop infrastructure, fund local industries, or manage charities. Totally, depending on budget and economy." Wait, are you writing a novel? I stared at that specific answer for a very long time. Buy land, build factories, upgrade infrastructure. I looked toward the empty main street's bare trees. Crooked red New Year lanterns swung in the wind like they gave up entirely. 60 million daily. A tiny, forgotten town with absolutely nothing left to lose. Maybe, just maybe, it actually creates something epic here. The AI chatbot suggested buying land, building huge factories, and doing infrastructure. Fantastic advice. Super inspiring. Just one tiny problem. I possess zero connections, zero business experience, zero corporate registration, and absolutely zero clue how government paperwork functions. All I have is 60 million yuan daily, and some basic flip-flops. I desperately needed a solid starting point. An old saying claims to gauge a town's real wealth. Ignore the boring GDP reports completely. Always look closely at the local entertainment industry instead. Where do people waste cash? I opened the app, searched foot spas, and sorted by highest price. Trust me, you and I are just getting started. First up, the absolute king of Yinming County's luxury wellness scene, Royal Golden Goblet Bathing Center. Their best package, 198 yuan, about 27 bucks. The absolute ceiling, the highest tier. Stick with me. Here, the absolute peak of foot rubs. To spend 60 million daily, I would need 300,000 massages to burn through this wild budget. My feet would literally melt before my bank account even felt it. I scrolled the reviews. Technician was solid, but the watermelon on that fruit plate was nowhere near fresh. Smells like smoke, but giving 5 stars because I fear they might go bankrupt. Highly recommend technician number 8. She made me scream. Coming back. Okay, time for field research. I grabbed a cab. Driving across this entire county took just 15 minutes. Cost 7 yuan. 7. In Shanghai, that would not even make a driver look at you. The Royal Golden Goblet looked exactly as wild as you might imagine. 4 entire floors of gold-tinted glass. 2 stone lions out front looking incredibly exhausted with life. And a giant basketball court-sized lobby with absolutely no one standing inside it at all. The receptionist was blasting comedy clips on her phone at max volume. She completely missed me until I was standing directly in front of her face. Professional smile activated. Massage or foot treatment, sir? Foot treatment. The 198 package. She led me upstairs. The private room featured European floral wallpaper peeling right at the corners, a powered-off TV, and a free fruit plate holding 3 cherry tomatoes. 2 watermelon slices so paper-thin, they were basically invisible, plus 1 truly sad little handful of sunflower seeds. Watch closely. The peak VIP experience. I wore the disposable robe and waited. Knock knock. Come in. A woman walked inside, holding a wooden foot basin. She rocked a tight, curly perm, and the wrinkles around her eyes were fighting a completely losing battle against her heavy makeup. She was, let us say, experienced. 45 minimum. Boss, the water might be slightly hot. Test it first. She smiled warmly. Sis, could I maybe get a different technician? She did not even blink once. Clearly, this happened 12 times a day. Sure, one moment. 5 minutes later, another knock. This girl rocked a simple ponytail, much less makeup, and looked visibly fresher. She placed the basin down and introduced herself with total confidence. I am number 8. Highest rated worker in this entire shop. I looked directly at her. How old are you? 25. I squinted hard. Ma'am, do you truly look born in 2001? She pursed her lips. Under 40? I sighed. 37, 38, somewhere close to that. Fine, you work. I dipped my feet into the warm basin. Number 8 grabbed a wooden stool and instantly went to work on my calves. Strong hands. Incredibly strong. The type of intense grip that says, I have done this for 15 years, and your weak leg muscles mean absolutely nothing to me. Just got back from out of town, she asked casually. How do you know? Local guys do not visit midday just to swap out technicians like that. She just grinned. You city boys return thinking we are super outdated, but this is all there is. I asked why no young workers were around. She laughed out loud, like I told the absolute funniest joke of the year. Young girls here? They all left for Guangdong or Shenzhen. A simple factory job offering free meals pays way better than this. Anyone under 30 with working legs already vanished. Why didn't you leave? Cannot. She smoothly switched over to my other foot. Got elderly parents, got kids. I know what you are thinking, but a woman my age finding a 3,000 yuan job here, while making it home for dinner, that is the absolute dream outcome. Suddenly, she struck a hidden pressure point on the bottom of my foot, and I practically levitated right off that massage chair. Chronic sleep deprivation, kidney energy deficiency, young man. She diagnosed me exactly like a very disappointed traditional doctor. I completely ignored the sudden medical commentary and kept asking my questions. What about the textile factory on the east side? The machinery plant down south? Those used to be decent. Dead, gone, permanently buried. She waved her hand dismissively. Now, the only real jobs are local government positions. Everyone else is selling empty apartments, pushing insurance, or delivering hot food. That is the entire menu. I stared at the peeling wallpaper, brain spinning. 600,000 people need a million. That is for 100,000 more humans. Humans are not ducks. You cannot just herd them into town and call it finished. People need real jobs. High-paying jobs. Great schools for their kids. Functioning hospitals. If I literally stood on the street handing out free cash like a total maniac, sure, I would attract a massive crowd. But the second the free cash stopped, everyone would just vanish. I would just create massive inflation and pure chaos, leaving the county way worse off than before. The absolute only answer? Create real jobs. Lots of them. With excellent pay. I was completely lost in deep thought about economic development and population migration theory. When I finally fell asleep, Number 8 gently shook me awake. Handsome. Time is up. Want to add another session? I definitely did not add another session. My poor feet had been through enough spiritual awakening for one single day. Leaving the royal golden goblet, I stepped into the bright afternoon sun and decided to scout the newer part of town. The roads here were massive, 6 full lanes, built for heavy traffic that never arrived. Makes you wonder, right? An electric scooter occasionally zipped past like a lonely fish in an empty ocean. Let's dive in. The streets had people, mostly grandparents and moms with kids. Young faces? Basically an extinct species around here. I hit a real estate office. Windows packed with listings. A fresh apartment, empty. 3,800 yuan per square meter. Older spots near schools rent 3,200. The absolute crown jewel? A massive villa for 890,000 yuan. Not even 1 million. In Shanghai, that cash buys a parking space. Honestly, maybe just half a spot in a rough neighborhood. I strolled down the whole commercial street for 40 minutes. Here is exactly what I figured out. The top clothing brands here are Ant and Step. Essentially, just basic sweatpants and sneakers. Now, for transportation. Taxis start at 5 yuan. Buses cost 1 yuan. Most folks just cruise on electric scooters. The main mall, a 3-story place called Wanjifu. Supermarket on floor 1, clothes on 2, and food spots up on 3. Half that 3rd floor sits totally empty. Rent signs taped up like sad surrender flags. And this whole county literally only has 3 entertainment options. Mahjong, TikTok, or drinking. That is it. The whole menu. Pick 2 and mix. Exhausted, I crashed at a local noodle joint. Ordered the lamb stew noodles for 8 yuan. That steaming bowl arrived, hitting my face like a warm hug from someone who truly cares. Genuine bone broth. Zero chemical shortcuts or weird food tech innovations. Freshly pulled noodles. Perfectly even. 7 or 8 tender pieces of lamb. Not huge, but honest. I took one single bite. Absolutely incredible. Way better than every 20 yuan fancy noodle shop back in Shanghai combined. Those places charge triple for pure sadness in a bowl. This tiny roadside joint casually destroyed them for just 8 yuan. The guy sitting right beside me ate plain vegetable noodles for 5 yuan. Reading a folded paper in a wrinkled gray jacket, hair spiking everywhere. He suddenly shouted at the owner, "Boss, add a bread roll to this." 1 yuan. I understood it perfectly. This was reality. Here, a place where adding a 1 yuan roll to 5 yuan noodles requires a real financial choice. But here is my dilemma. Now watch closely. Even ignoring the million population goal, I have to upgrade this whole county just to find things to buy. You cannot burn 60 million daily in a town where the absolute fanciest villa costs way less than a tiny Shanghai closet. But me, I am a social media guy. I write articles, cut videos, and run ads. Ask me to analyze any target demographic. I am your man. But set up an industrial production line? I would honestly rather perform surgery on myself. Cash fixes most problems, though. I just need to track down people who actually know what they are doing. Post noodles. I searched up Yunnan County economy and industrial structure. I just got tons of official links packed with leadership speeches and endless bureaucratic fluff. Eventually, I finally dug up last year's official report. GDP nearly 20 billion yuan. Growth for percent. Split was 40 for agriculture, 35 manufacturing, 21 services. 74 major industrial companies total, but only 12, making over 100 million in pure revenue. The rest was pure official poetry. Stuff like vigorously developing food processing and traditional garment manufacturing industries. Actively cultivate brand new materials and emerging e-commerce markets. Push forward high-quality development with full force. Basically, just fancy words signifying absolutely nothing. Two real takeaways here. First, their main gig is food processing, totally making sense, since southern Hunan grows tons of grain. And two, those 70 for companies feel weak. Nationally, they are literally just a rounding error. Locally, could be worse, I guess. I strolled home right past the county government building. Iron gates wide open, black sedans parked inside, uniformed guys smoking out front. I stared at that brass nameplate for just a few seconds. We both know how this goes, right? If I walked in saying I get 60 million daily from a magic phone system, they would instantly call the cops. I have to build something real first. At home, Mom was intensely snapping green beans. Your third uncle needs a worker tomorrow. 3,500 a month. Mom, not yet. Then what is your plan? Just wander around? I have some cash and want to start a business. She instantly froze mid-snap. You have money? You saved barely anything in Shanghai. I calmly told her I made smart investments. Complete lie, but delivered perfectly smooth. She did not buy it. Not even slightly. How much? Do not waste it on nonsense. You are getting older now. I was actually planning to have your aunt arrange a blind date. I just smiled. Mom, I have it handled. She stayed quiet, but snapped those green beans with the absolute fury of a mother who completely doubted her son had it handled. Also, Mom, I am buying a car. That definitely got her attention. She immediately launched into a speech about affordable Volkswagen Jettas. Super durable. But Mom, I'm buying it myself. And trust me, you will love what happens next. Alright, stick with me, we are diving into an insane system story. BMW? Mercedes? Audi? She just blinked, totally confused. Never mind. She seriously warned me not to blow all my cash. Finding a good wife is not easy these days. I just nodded and played right along. Back in my room at midnight, the golden system panel glowed brightly. Today's daily deposit. Over 6 million yuan just dropped right in. Balance updated. 120 million. 2 days. 120 million yuan banked. But my total spending? Barely even hit 300 in cash. A quick massage, cheap noodles, cab fare, and milk. That was literally it. I simply could not spend this crazy money fast enough. Millions of yuan sitting there completely untouched for 2 straight days. Gathering pure digital dust. The dumbest problem ever, right? Next morning, I grabbed my dad's rusty old electric scooter and slowly cruised right through the middle of our sleepy town. Ying County at 8 a.m. feels like a totally different universe compared to busy Shanghai. Shanghai subways crush you completely flat. Down here, the absolute busiest guy was just some old dude slowly frying up crispy dough sticks. I snagged a huge bowl of spicy pepper soup and some fried bread. Absolute breakfast of champions, without a single doubt. Then I rode east to my third uncle's auto repair shop, and honestly, the word shop is generous. Just a dirty yard with the tin roof, 5 or 6 broken cars, and a hand-painted sign reading Jian Jun Auto Repair. The white letters on red were completely yellowed out from years of sun and rain. Very vintage, highly rustic, and strictly cash-only type of energy. Inside, Uncle Jian Jun sat on a completely ruined sofa, casually scrolling his phone through incredibly thick cigarette smoke. The desk was completely buried under car parts and old cups. Pure interior design by a man who quit trying. I told him I needed a car. He smirked. Need cash? What does a Mercedes E300 run these days anyway? He casually asked. His cigarette practically dropped from his mouth. Around 400,000. You want that? He stared at me like I was packing my bags for Mars. You got that kind of cash? Enough. I just need your expert mechanic eyes. He aggressively scratched his head. You gotta hit the big city for that. Know exactly how many dealers this county actually has. I shook my head. 2.5. He held up fingers. 1 Chang'an, 1 BYD, and a half-renovated Cherry dealership currently switching hands right down the street. Now, pay close attention, here is the wild catch. My system money literally does not work outside this county. Exactly like paying with Monopoly cash. Except Monopoly money probably works in way more places than my restricted wealth. What about used cars? There is a lot up north. Let us roll. Uncle grabbed his keys, proudly slapping my shoulder, like he finally realized his nephew was not totally useless after all. Let us go. I always knew you would actually make it. I raised you right. Yeah, Uncle. You literally taught me drinking at age 4. Took me for foot massages at 6. Karaoke at 8. He panicked and cut me off. Let us hit the road right now. The car market was a rough concrete lot, roughly 2 basketball courts wide, completely full of muddy puddles and endless rows of cheap $5 to $10,000 family cars baking in the sun. The owner, a big guy in leather, loudly picking his teeth with a toothpick. Seeing our van pull up, he instantly morphed into a super fake salesman. Brother John, what brings you out here? Nephew needs a ride. The guy sized me up as Uncle boldly demanded the best Mercedes E300 on the entire lot. His toothpick picking stopped cold for exactly 1 beat. Then he tossed it away, suddenly radiating the pure confidence of a man about to make massive commission. Got one? You absolutely bet. Follow me right now. He led us out back. A black Mercedes shining perfectly in the sunlight. Uncle circled it once, deeply, checking underneath the frame. He sat inside, stepped out, and dropped a brutal verdict. Major collision repairs. Next. The big salesman's fake smile instantly cracked right down the middle. Brother John, that is the only one I have. Uncle glanced at me and nodded back, and he turned with the intense energy of a principal busting a cheating student. I know what you are thinking, but watch. He demanded flawless original paint, 0 games, and no hidden damage. The big guy stared straight at me for 2 seconds, recalibrating his entire sneaky sales strategy. Follow me. He walked us behind the main lot to a locked shed, jingled some keys, and swung the heavy door wide open. 3 legendary cars inside. A white Porsche Cayenne, dark green Range Rover, and tucked in the back, a massive black sedan, making the others look like literal toys. I didn't recognize the badge, but honestly, I didn't need to. Seriously long. Those wheels alone were way bigger than my entire future. Everything screamed, I cost more than your house, your neighbor, and your entire block combined. What is that beast? I pointed it out. His face got super weird, like I'd just tried buying the Sun. Maybach S680. Uncle's smoking hand just completely froze midair in shock. You have this? He wiped the hood lovingly. Bought before New Year. Trust me, you and I are going to love what happens next. Let's dive into this flex. Belonged to a coal boss. Driven barely 947 kilometers. His business crashed hard, so he needed quick cash. The car? Flawless. Not a single scratch on it. Basically a very expensive garage decoration. Uncle hopped into the back, touching the leather. His entire posture shifted. This definitely wasn't standard E300 material. This was literal wealth. Every square inch cost more than a normal person's yearly salary. Super soft, buttery smooth. It sinks perfectly when you press it. Plus, the back seat was literally massive enough to take a nap in. A hidden mini fridge right in the armrest. And the ceiling? Glowing with tiny little lights. A literal starry sky roof. Like your own private planetarium. I'll take it, I said casually. How much? But before I could finish, my uncle yanked my arm, pulling me away with absolute panic in his eyes. My dear, sweet, crazy nephew. Even if you sold me and your dad, we couldn't afford this. 2.4 million. The dealer smirked, holding up 2 fingers like a peace sign aimed right at my upcoming financial funeral. Uncle grabbed my arm in total panic and physically dragged me toward the exit like a toddler, touching a hot stove. Seriously, even if we sold the family as a package deal, we wouldn't cover the down payment. Let's check the 300 instead. I'll help you scrape cash together. Now, you're going to want to see this. I planted my feet, didn't budge. Can I swipe a card? Total silence. His brain totally blue screen. Bro, no deposits here. Full payment only. Full payment. I casually pulled out my bank card, holding it like a magician revealing a trick. Swipe it. The big guy stared at the card, then stared at me. He checked the card again, then he literally threw his rag onto the Maybach hood and sprinted to the main office, like his life was on the line. Uncle grabbed my sleeve, his eyes completely wild. Are you totally insane? Where did you get this cash? Did you rob a bank? Uncle. Bitcoin. Bit what? Bitcoin. A virtual currency I bought years ago and forgot. It skyrocketed, so I sold everything. A total lie, delivered with the calm swagger of a guy getting 60 million yuan dropped in his account every single night. Uncle didn't understand a single word, but he definitely felt the vibe. His nephew was absolutely loaded. The dealer sprinted back with a card reader, forehead dripping with nervous sweat. He jammed the card in, typed 2.4 million, and handed it over. I entered my password and hit confirm. Beep. The receipt printer whirred to life. That little white paper crawled out so slowly, like it was purposely building intense suspense. He ripped it off. Transaction successful. I swear, his entire soul left his body for 3 solid seconds. Let that sink in for a second. In this tiny, crumbling Yin County lot, a Maybach S680 sold straight cash in 5 minutes. On a random Tuesday, this dealer's entire vocabulary completely restructured itself in real time. I went from bro to sir so fast it gave me whiplash. Sir, please come sit down. Let me brew you some tea. He frantically tore through cabinets searching for fancy tea leaves. Finally finding half a tin of some premium brand, he washed the cups, brewed it, and served me with both hands like actual royalty. He even handed my shocked uncle a cup. Brother John, you never mentioned having such an incredible nephew. Uncle just sat there holding his paper cup, his hands literally still trembling. He stared at me forever before finally whispering, "You really got rich?" "Just a bit," I replied calmly, sipping my expensive tea. "A bit? You just dropped 2.4 million on a car." He grabbed his phone. "I'm calling your dad." I stopped his hand. "Not yet. We need the right moment." He hesitated, slowly put the phone away, and muttered, "Fine, but seriously, keep a low profile. Don't flash money around." He literally said this sitting inside a Maybach S680. So much for a low profile. The dealer was a paperwork god. He pulled some serious strings, and within 2 hours, I had plates, registration, literally everything done. He handed over the keys with both hands, bowing like I was a king. I confidently slid right into the driver's seat. Uncle tiptoed into the passenger side incredibly carefully. You'd think the leather was made of actual gold, which, given the insane price, basically was. I turned the key. The engine was completely silent. So quiet, I honestly thought it hadn't even started. This wasn't a car, it was a literal cloud on wheels. We hit the road, and every single bump from that terrible pavement completely vanished. The suspension ate potholes like tiny snacks. Uncle kept touching everything. The wood trim, the sound system, the seats. "This car," he whispered with pure religious awe, "just absolutely, genuinely incredible. I've fixed cars my entire life, and never sat in anything like this. This premium leather, this insane sound system. Unbelievable." And then I dropped the next massive bomb. "Uncle, I'm starting a company right here in the county." He snapped straight out of his trance. "A company doing what?" "Investments. I want to build up some real industries locally." He stared like I was opening a desert ski resort. "Everyone escaped this dump. But trust me, you and I are about to watch history unfold. Only old folks and kids remain here. Just take your cash straight to the massive provincial capital. Listen, you and I both know banks are safer. Literally anything beats pouring cash into this absolute ghost town. I have a master plan," our cheerful MC says, staying mysterious. "Know any good office buildings renting nearby? Big ones? Good location?" Uncle sighs heavily, knowing perfectly well his nephew is an impossibly stubborn donkey. Then he actually stops and thinks. New district, 2 blocks south of the main shopping center. There is a massive building some developer constructed, meant to be a huge commercial complex, but his funds completely vanished. He ran off to Macau, gambled hundreds of millions away, and poof, instant ghost building. The local government stepped in, fixed it up slightly, and desperately tried creating a shiny new tech startup incubation park. But nobody ever showed up, sitting entirely empty since. Let's see it. 15 minutes later, their sleek Maybach rolls up to a 6-story structure featuring gray glass walls. Honestly, it looks super modern. The front doors are completely locked tight. A simple rental sign is taped onto the glass, rocking a handwritten marker phone number. Out front is a huge plaza totally overrun by wild weeds. Nature is actively reclaiming this property. Our MC steps out, evaluating the prize. Prime location right on the new district's main road. Absolutely perfect. Each floor looks like 2,000 square meters. 6 floors, 12,000 total. Plus, the walled-off empty lot next door adds another 1,000 square meters. He absolutely loves it. Uncle casually walks up, offering a quick smoke. But our decisive lead waves it away. Terrible feng shui, Uncle declares, lighting his own. The original builder lost everything gambling, and the local government totally failed here too. Now watch closely. While Uncle warns about insane annual costs, our guy is already dialing that exact glass door's number. It rings forever. Finally, a super sleepy woman's voice answers. Hello? Who is this? Hi, I saw your rental listing. Asking about the building. How much? Hearing a potential client, her tone instantly flips from being half asleep to wildly caffeinated. And super eager. Yes, entirely available. How many floors do you need? What for? Our MC just smiles. Not renting it, he replies. Heavy pause. I want to know, is it for sale? The lady on the phone goes completely silent for 5 solid seconds. You can practically hear her stunned brain rebooting. Buy? You want to buy the entire building? The whole thing? I cannot make that call. You must talk to my actual boss. Leave your digits. He shares his phone number and quickly hangs right up. Uncle stands frozen, lit cigarette dangling from his lips, staring like his crazy nephew just announced a presidential run. You want to buy this entire building? Yep. Any idea what it costs? Nope. Hence the call. Uncle opens his mouth, shuts it tight, opens it again, and completely shuts it. He looks exactly like a stunned fish suddenly learning about taxes. They wait 20 long minutes. MC snaps photos around the place. Solid steel, firm concrete frame, and huge glass walls, a bit dusty, but completely structurally intact. Peeking through the ground floor windows, the sprawling lobby reveals gorgeous ceiling height, reaching at least 5 meters tall. I know what you're thinking. A mess, right? But perfect bones. It just needs an owner who won't gamble its entire future away in Macau. His phone rings. Local number. Hello, I am Zhao Wei Shan, the property agent for this exact building. Want to see it? I am right downstairs. Be there in 10 minutes. Yeah, his 10 minutes actually took 25. A black Passat rolls directly into the huge plaza, dropping off a 40-something dude. Dark polo smartly tucked into dress pants. Keys violently jangling on his belt, exactly like some dramatic medieval jailer. He spots the Maybach instantly. MC watches his walking speed increase by exactly 40%. You called? His eyes frantically ping-pong between our lead's face and the luxury car. Face, car, face, car. Lu Ming. MC extends a hand. Call me old Zhao. Shaking hands, the agent suddenly spots Uncle. Brother Jun, you are actually here too. You two know each other? Uncle playfully shrugs. Small county, everybody knows everybody. Old Zhao finally unlocks the massive building, and inside they go. The ground floor lobby is honestly way bigger than expected. Sleek gray tile floors. A circular reception desk sits center stage, covered entirely in dust. Peacefully sleeping, just waiting for someone awesome to finally come and wake it up. 2 elevators, 1 staircase. Exploring floor by floor. Levels 2 through 5 look completely identical, split into various sized rooms using simple glass partitions or basic drywall. Every single floor features 2 huge conference rooms. The projectors are completely stripped out, leaving nothing behind but sad little screw holes in the walls. Like the massive building's teeth got aggressively pulled. The sixth floor is different. Completely open. Zero partitions. Over 1,000 square meters of unbroken space. Huge windows covering 3 sides. Light flooding in everywhere. Supposed to be a grand banquet hall, Old Zhao casually explains. Leaning right against the huge glass window, that original owner held massive dreams. Yanning County's absolute best commercial complex. Fancy dining upstairs, premium shopping downstairs. Built halfway, then poof, completely vanished. Looking down from the 6th floor, that giant plaza below is literally a wild weed museum. What do you and I think? Nature ran things for 2 years, doing an absolutely terrible job as property manager. Stick with me here. Who owns this massive place? The Finance Bureau. After the original boss ran away with massive debt, banks grabbed it and held 2 failed auctions. 0 buyers. The local government finally took control. They spent $4 million on upgrades for a startup hub. He waved at the pure emptiness around them. 0 renters. Absolutely none. The price? Old Zhao grabbed cigarettes. He handed them out. 3 men standing in a massive empty hall, smoking like they were deciding the whole world's fate. Let me be real. Brother Jun is here. We are friends. He exhaled slowly. This place gave the government massive headaches for years. Maintenance, water, power, and management. Over 100,000 a year from public funds. Leave it, lose cash. Demolish it, lose more. He stared at him. You are the first caller this year. Give me a real price, he demanded smoothly. He held up 2 fingers, then 3. 30 million. No, he shook his head fast. Just 23 million. 6 floors, 12,000 square meters, plus the plaza. That is under 2,000 yuan per meter. In the big city, that money barely buys a sidewalk view. But here, the inside was just raw, bare concrete. Wiring and fire safety were finished, but walls were plain white, and the floor tiles were absolute trash tier. To work here, he needed full upgrades. At 1,000 a meter, that is 12 million. Does this include the plaza and everything? Land, building, and 50-year rights? Here's where it gets interesting for us. He gets 60 million yuan daily. He could have said yes instantly, but that is foolish. With endless cash, you never pay full price. It is pure strategy. Throwing cash around blindly makes people treat you like an absolute fool forever. Future deals would start with them overcharging the rich kid. Go lower? He demanded. Zhao laughed. Brother, this is rock bottom. Check city prices for this space. But he was not comparing cities. He was comparing it to this local town. His voice stayed flat. This place sat empty for 2 years. Bleeding cash constantly. If I walk away, you keep losing. I am saving you. Zhao stopped laughing, totally reassessing him. His clothes were nothing flashy, but he arrived in a Maybach, paid cash, and negotiated a massive building like he was ordering lunch. 20 million flat. Zhao crushed his smoke. I need the boss. Go ahead, but hurry up. He rushed off, literally jogging away. His uncle turned, looking incredibly stressed. Kid, how much money did you actually make? You have to tell me. Uncle, this is not how you spend cash. I have control. But here is what he completely missed. Haggling over 3 million was not about savings. Making 60 million daily means 3 million is literally pocket change. You and I both know it. This is pure dominance. Absolutely no overpaying. The officials would remember this exact moment, making every single future deal completely smooth and easy. Mid-conversation, old Zhao came bouncing back, grinning like he just won the ultimate jackpot. Gentlemen, great news. The boss agrees. He jogged over like a track star, his forehead sweating from pure excitement. He leaned in, barely able to contain himself. Mr. Liu, the boss approved. 20 million. The entire building and plaza are yours. Uncle heard this, and his face glitched out, trying to express 7 different emotions at the exact same time. Driving back, he asked only one question. Are you really buying that cursed building? Yep. The uncle stepped out, slammed the door, and walked away sighing, like a man witnessing his nephew's absolute financial ruin. At exactly 2:30 p.m., he went home, swapped into a dark collared shirt to look sharp for the big government meeting, and drove straight down to the county's main office compound. Normally, the local security gate is a huge, highly dramatic production. The guards check IDs and interrogate people like they are crossing a highly secured international border. But today, a sleek black Maybach smoothly rolled up. The guard took one look at that luxury hood ornament and silently hit the button. The gate lifted. No questions, zero checks. Apparently, the ultimate VIP password to government buildings is just a German luxury car. He parked in a premium spot right below the office. Trust me, you will love this. Zhao launched out of the lobby, smiling so hard his face looked completely frozen. Mr. Liu, right on time. Stick with me. We are walking into a small conference room. Oval table. 3 powerful leaders. In the center, Director Wang, the 50-something finance head. His hair combed so perfectly it almost looked painted. Crisp white shirt radiating pure 30-year government veteran energy. Left seat, Deputy Director Liu. Younger, half-frame glasses, managing state assets. His chubby face practically screamed, I have conditions you will absolutely hate. Right seat, some young admin guy with a laptop. His only purpose, sit there and type things. Director Wang actually stood up, extending a hand. Mr. Liu, so young and accomplished. Too kind. Deputy Director Liu chimed in with fake smiles. Everyone sat. That laptop kid showed crazy situational awareness, sliding over a freshly brewed glass of premium Mao tea. The tea leaves stood straight up in the glass, literally like tiny green soldiers. The old him, an 8,000 yuan a month social media guy who would be sweating buckets in this formal room. His old daily life was literally arguing about font sizes on WeChat posts. But the current Liu, he had 120 million yuan banked, plus 60 million, dropping at midnight like a total financial Santa Claus. Cash is liquid courage. Medical fact. He just leaned back, picked up the tea, blew the leaves, and sipped. Good tea, Liu smiled. Wang beamed back. First pick Mao Jian, obviously. Mr. Liu, it is incredibly rare seeing someone make big city money and actually come back home to invest. Precious sentiment. Roots run deep, Liu replied, totally matching that poetic boomer energy. Just doing the classic Chinese business dance, going back and forth with polite smiles for a while. Wang was secretly fishing, trying to figure out his money source. Liu casually dropped phrases like internet investment and early crypto gains. Words these county officials heard on the news. Enough to nod at, but definitely did not actually understand them at all. The perfect smokescreen. After some verbal ping-pong, Director Wang decided Liu was legit. He leaned forward, hands clasped tightly. Mr. Liu, let us speak plainly. Now, pay close attention here. 20 million for that building is a huge county loss. They spent 10 million just on basic renovations. Liu just listened. Absolute dead silence. Power move. Wang glanced sideways at Deputy Director Liu. Liu cleared his throat and slid a printed document center stage. Mr. Liu, the price is approved. But for state assets, the county has some very specific considerations. We need to ensure your company genuinely contributes to Yunning and its development. He pushed his glasses up. The universal anime signal for incoming conditions. Full bureaucrat mode. 3 extra conditions. Liu just raised an eyebrow. Proceed. First, create 100 local jobs with full insurance within a year. Liu internally almost burst laughing. 100 jobs at 3,000 yuan each, 300,000 monthly, less than 4 million yearly. He literally makes that much sleeping for minutes. Easy points. Second condition, local taxes. No offshore tricks or shady shell companies. Liu took another chill tea sip. His system literally prevents money from leaving Yunning anyway. His magic bank account would just laugh and totally decline any tax evasion transfer. You and I know what comes next. Condition 3. Liu locked eyes with our guy. Voice heavy. Hand over 30% of annual net profits for county infrastructure development. Just like that, the entire room went completely dead silent. Wang casually sipped his thermos, secretly watching Liu out of the very corner of his eye. Liu leaned back, waiting for pushback. The laptop kid literally had fingers hovering, completely ready to type objections. Let us be totally real here. This was absolute legalized government highway robbery. Taking 30% of net profits? Absolutely zero sane investors would ever agree to that deal. Search the entire country, you will never find a deal scooping out a third of your earnings. But Lu understood. They were just covering themselves, selling a 20 million building. Without conditions, the government auditors would literally eat them completely alive by year end. Selling state assets at a discount? Huge scandal. Headlines. Bureaucratic careers instantly ended. So what do we make of this? Lu just sat there tapping, running the wild numbers. Alright, stick with me. 100 jobs? Local taxes? Sure, but dropping 30% profit? No way. Deputy Director Lu, I said, stopping my finger tapping. I glanced up. He sat straight, ready to fight. Mr. Lu, share your concerns. Smile. I leaned right forward, laced my fingers together, and looked both directors straight into their nervous eyes. Gentlemen, the first two demands are totally fine. Silence. But the third condition? I absolutely hate it. Deputy Lu frowned, furiously tapping his pen like an angry teacher. Mr. Lu, that third rule is our strict red line for local infrastructure. Giving you this giant building for 20 million is a massive concession, you know? 30% back to the town. Is that too much? I set down my tea, slowly, totally dramatic. Deputy Lu, the math just fails. I leaned back. I am a businessman. I love making profits. Want 100 hired? I will hire 1,000. Keep the taxes local? Every cent stays right here. But stealing 30% of my hard profit? That completely shatters business logic. Now, you gotta watch this closely. They stared like hungry hawks watching a rabbit solve crazy math. First, companies need cash to actually grow. Take 30% and you choke my funds. Second, I am not here in Yunmang opening a tiny shop. My real investment crushes. 20 million. Director Wang stopped moving his tea completely. 20 million just covers the office. Huge schools, hospitals, and factories. Entire roads. All that follows later, demanding heavy, constant cash. Those crazy public projects will not generate returns for years. Stop stealing my income. Let me fund this town directly. Now, old Director Wang was a super clever government veteran. He knew every fake boss, cheap talkers, terrible scammers, and frauds promising giant shiny towers, but only building wooden sheds. But this young guy drove a 2 million yuan Maybach, paid pure cash, and discussed building hospitals without one single ounce of bragging. More importantly, that old property was cursed. It burned over 100,000 yuan yearly. Every year, auditors aggressively flagged it as a wasted asset, ruining his peaceful life. If absolutely anyone bought this awful place and hired workers, his tough yearly performance review would be an automatic win. Push the greed too far, and this rich golden goose vanishes. Mr. Lu, truly impressive. Wang sounded smooth. He glanced at his deputy. Drop Rule 3. 2 conditions are fine. Our young hero is rescuing his hometown. We must unroll the red carpet, not build annoying blockades. Lu nodded, fixing his glasses. Understood completely. The assistant immediately started fixing that digital document. Regarding the massive payment, Director Wang asked calmly, sign everything today. Funds arrive right away. Officials drag their feet until real money appears. Then they become absolute lightning. By 4 p.m., a fresh contract rested on my table. I checked it. You saw this coming, right? Rule 1 and 2 stayed. Rule 3, completely wiped out. Gone forever. I signed it, thumbed the page. Then I grabbed my phone, punched in 20 million and confirmed. Ding! That bright little chime blasted through the quiet room like a victory bell. 2 minutes pass. The finance team called Lu. He hung up, and his eye literally twitched. He stared at Wang and smiled. Sir, 20 million just fully landed. Wang grinned widely. That pure joy when an official sees his absolute worst problem just completely disappear forever. He jumped right up, trapped my hand with both of his, shaking it like he was starting a crazy engine. Mr. Lu, credible stuff. Yunming County truly needs brave youths. Any trouble at all, you come to me. Old Zhao watched nearby, heavily gulping. 20 million dropped instantly without sweating. Just who is this guy? Afterwards, all my remaining paperwork got crazy VIP treatment. Special housing lines. By 5:30, right before close, a deep red property book landed in my palms. I checked. Bold letters printed inside. Lu Ming, 12,000 massive meters, plus a giant square, all mine. Walking outside proudly. I know we both feel it right now. The sunset, painting the burning sky orange like the whole universe cheered. I threw that beautiful red book inside the luxury Maybach and proudly started my engine. Building acquired. Land secured. Next problem up. I was a one-man army trying to spend 60 million yuan every day. Let's dive in. I needed a team. Specifically, someone completely trustworthy who could handle massive money and actually use their brain. Enter cousin Lu Yuan, Uncle Janjin's daughter, exactly 1 year younger. She basically grew up following me around everywhere. Sharp tongue. Way sharper. Mind. Graduated from a mid-tier provincial finance college holding a solid accounting degree. She worked at a bookkeeping firm in Yunga for 1 year. She hated the awful pay and endless overtime. Quit after Chinese New Year and had been slacking at home ever since. Occasionally helping uncle balance his repair shop books. I drove right to the repair shop. The rolling shutter was half down. I ducked under it. Lu Yuan was sitting on that same wreck sofa, hunched over a huge ceramic bowl, fiercely slurping noodles like she was in a speed-eating contest. Oversized old t-shirt, hair in a messy bun, zero makeup, and simple plastic flip-flops. She looked like she had completely given up on society, and society happily accepted it. Eating something? I pulled up a chair. She looked up with half a noodle dangling from her mouth, slurped it in, and mumbled, "Bro, what are you doing here? Dad mentioned you went out car shopping. Did you get one?" "Got one." "What did you get? A Santana? A Jetta?" She set down the bowl and wiped her mouth with a napkin. Dad's taste in vehicles tops out at cheap second-hand junkers. Maybach. Her hand completely froze. Now watch this reaction closely. The napkin stayed pressed against her lip like a literal pause button. She crumpled it, tossed it, and rolled her eyes so hard they almost stuck. Why not say you bought a Boeing 747? Bragging is completely free. I did not argue. Instead, I just asked, and you? Hanging out at the repair shop every single day. Planning to inherit the family oil change business. Oil changes are honest work, she quickly pouted. That garbage bookkeeping company paid 3,500 a month, forcing overtime until 8 every night. The boss spouted motivational quotes instead of cash. I am resting. I will take the civil service exam after summer. Skip the exam. I pulled out the red property certificate I brought from the car and slapped it onto the table. Work for me? She squinted at the red booklet suspiciously. What is that? Open it. She flipped it open. Rights holder, Lu Ming. Location, Yunning County, Ben Road, New City Commercial Building. Area 12,450 square meters. She completely stared at those numbers for a full 30 seconds. Then she reached over, placing her hand right on my forehead. No fever, bro. Where did you get this fake certificate? It looks pretty realistic. Is this not that abandoned building the county gave up on? Transferred this afternoon. 20 million. Full payment. I put the certificate away. I'm starting a company. I need a CFO. You in? I know you'd react the exact same way. She stared like I claimed I could talk to dolphins. Lu Ming. What happened? Did you get completely dumped in Shanghai? Are loan sharks actually chasing you? 20 million? You could sell both your kidneys and not even scrape together 2 million. I made money trading crypto. What crypto makes 100 million? She instantly shot up from the sofa like a literal rocket. Do not lie to me. Are you doing something illegal? International fraud? Money laundering? Everything is legal. Money is clean. Taxes paid. I pocketed my phone. Now want to invest in accounting. You studied accounting. Help me manage the books. For real? She was stuttering hard. A financial professional literally stuttering over finances. Poetic. I looked directly at her. In or out? Is there a salary? She blurted instantly. Pure accountant DNA. Could not help herself. 50,000 monthly. Full social insurance package. Year-end bonus. Lu Yuan slammed her bowl down so hard, the soup actually splashed. Say that again. How much? 50,000 per month. Per month. She stared at me for 10 solid seconds, then quickly reached over and felt my forehead again. No fever. You already checked that. She wiped her hand on her old t-shirt, sinking right back into the sofa. Bro, do you know how much I actually made at that bookkeeping sweatshop in Yung? 3,500. You mentioned it. 3,500. She repeated it like a dark prayer. Wake up at 7, work till 6, one single day off a week. And when month or quarter or year end hits, totally kiss your weekends goodbye. 3,500 gross, 3,100 after deductions. And now, you tell me 50,000. Too high. She smacked the sofa armrest. Pay me 50,000 and I will be the highest paid accountant in the entire county. Every financial professional in Yunming combined does not earn what you offer me. My old boss made 12,000. I completely ignored her meltdown, flipped a chair around backwards, sat down, and draped my arms over the backrest. Listen, 1. You are my cousin. I know you. I trust you. 2. You literally studied this. You did the hard work. You can hit the ground running. How big is this plan? Big. She went quiet. Trust me, and I know Lu Yuan is not dumb. She has known me her whole life. I am the quiet type. I never brag. I never exaggerate. Stick with me, guys. I am the total opposite of her dad, who could claim he caught a car-sized fish without blinking. Honestly, if literally anybody else pitched her this crazy idea, she would have completely thrown them out with her noodle bowl. But she entirely knew that my words always carry absolute truth. This certificate is totally real. I just grabbed it from the housing bureau today. You can verify. She tightly pressed her lips together, nervously rubbing her knee, internally stressing. What if I am not enough? Then I will replace you, but keep paying you until you find new work. Fine, she sighed, taking her bowl to the sink, turning the water on with her back completely turned. Facing away, she softly whispered, when do I officially start? Tomorrow? First thing. Registration paperwork, bank accounts, tax forms. You already understand this stuff way better than me. Go handle it. We have a company name. Yunming Investment Company Limited. She quickly killed the running faucet and aggressively shook her dripping hands, glaring heavily sideways at me. Registered capital? Let's start with 100 million. 100 million. Her voice cracked insanely hard, shifting octaves completely. 100 million in registered capital? Are you absolutely crazy? Do you comprehend that meaning? Once that company becomes registered, you become personally liable for 100 million yuan. Yeah, I totally know. Subscribed or paid up? Paid up for part of it. The building was 20 million. Count that as fixed assets. She stayed completely silent. She is an actual accountant. She fully understands what 100 million in paid capital means. Watch this carefully, guys. This isn't just filling forms. Real cash must hit that verification account. Actual, physically touchable money. How much money do you genuinely possess right now? Just enough. She immediately opened her mouth, snapped it shut, then swallowed her next words. Then she aggressively pulled a stool, sat directly across from me, grabbed a notebook and pen from a drawer, entering total professional boss mode. Official business scope, consulting. Real estate development, commercial operation management, construction engineering, food service, cultural entertainment. Just list absolutely everything to save us annoying future amendments. She scribbled furiously, covering half the page before looking up. Registered address, Ingbin Road, New City Commercial Building. The cursed building, my personal address. She heavily circled something on page, closing it. Tomorrow morning, exactly 8:30, when the registration office opens. I need your ID copy tonight. Company seals, official seal, financial seal, legal representative seal. I will book a carver immediately today. Opening bank accounts requires appointments, usually a 2 to 3 day wait. Can you possibly speed that up? I'll try. She gathered her things, then abruptly paused. Your car? Did you seriously buy a Maybach? Parked right outside? She shuffled out, wearing flip-flops. I quietly followed. There it majestically sat under the streetlights. Outside Janjin Auto Repair's rusty tin sign. A jet-black Maybach S680, gleaming beautifully like a deadly panther accidentally lost inside a petting zoo. She slowly circled. We all know she ignores cars, but she absolutely recognized that three-pointed star and the word Maybach stamped there. Just how much did this beast cost? 2.4 million. She stood completely frozen, staring at its exhaust pipe forever. Absolutely zero words, just standing there aggressively recalculating her whole reality. When she finally spun back around, her expression shifted. The playful joking totally vanished. There are things I cannot explain. Today, I confessed. But this cash is totally clean. Zero problems regarding its source. If you still doubt me, simply decline this job. We remain family anyway. We will definitely still eat together at New Year's. She stared deeply into my eyes forever. I totally trust you. Alright, I will handle it. What are you doing? Recruiting, building a team. This massive company just cannot run on exactly 2 people. HR manager, admin, manager, secretary, driver. Fine. She sighed deeply, then tapped the Maybach door. Okay, fine then. Tomorrow morning at 8, come pick me up in this car. Why? I'm hitting the registration office to launch our company. Parking a Maybach out front guarantees that clerk processes my paperwork twice as fast. Do not laugh. In a county town, this car remains more effective than any recommendation letter. I didn't laugh, simply because she was entirely right. Driving home rolled the windows entirely down. Fresh night air powerfully rushed inside, carrying pure smells of damp earth. Street lights were spaced far apart. Some stretches of road remained pitch black, just my piercing headlights cutting a path through the darkness. When I finally walked inside the door, Dad sat chilling, watching living room TV. Channel 6 was blasting Let the Bullets Fly, that iconic movie about a wild bandit stealing a small town and shaking absolutely everything up. Dad sharply stared. Your uncle called. So much for Uncle's promise to stay quiet. That barely lasted 4 hours. What did he say? He claimed you bought a car worth over $2 million. Dad placed the remote on the coffee table. You really made money? Yeah, some. How much exactly is some? He intensely stared at me forever. You have always remained extremely careful. Never the type doing anything completely stupid. But something this massive? You should tell me. Is that money clean? That's where we leave it, guys. Yes, totally clean, Dad. Trust me, you are about to love this wild business journey. He just cranked up the TV volume and went back to chilling. On screen, White Horse galloped into Goosetown. Dad suddenly warned that county towns are rough. I kept watching the TV. He muttered about this place having deep, hidden waters. Sitting on the couch's other end, I agreed completely. We just hung out in the living room. Total silence between us now. Just watching the main character trying to shake up a stubborn little town that seriously hated any change. Honestly, that moment felt like pure foreshadowing. Next morning at 7:50, parked the Maybach right by Uncle's repair shop. Lu Yuan was waiting on the sidewalk, and I honestly barely recognized her today. That messy, flip-flop wearing slacker was gone. Now, a total professional stood there, rocking a crisp white blouse, neat hair, and some perfect makeup. She looked like an entirely new person. Same exact DNA, completely upgraded firmware. Buckling her seatbelt, she instantly started pulling documents out of her bag, literally looking like a master magician pulling scarves from a hat. ID copies, property papers, company charter. She wrote it all late last night. Business plans duplicated perfectly. She flipped through everything with terrifying speed, already booking the official seal carver right across from the registration office. Old Jang seals. Every single official stamp in this county comes straight from there. She slept at 3 in the morning. Leaning back, she declared she would totally earn that $50,000 monthly salary. Honestly, fair enough for that epic hustle. At 8:25, the majestic Maybach parked outside the county business registration office. Several local business owners were already outside, chatting on the steps while tightly clutching their plastic bags full of important registration documents. Now watch this epic boss move. Our luxury ride parked, turning absolutely every head, and Lu Yuan confidently marched inside exactly at 8:30. First in line, documents perfectly arranged like a military operation. The clerk, a 30-something woman, casually sipping hot goji berry water from a thermos, took our papers and flipped through. Hitting the registered capital page, her hand completely froze in pure shock. Registered capital, 100 million. All correct. The massive first installment was already paid at 20 million. Contributed as fixed assets. The property certificate sat on the last page. She stood up, carefully carrying those documents to the back office like top secret diplomatic files. 5 minutes later, she returned alongside a serious guy wearing glasses. The section chief questioned our broad business scope. To many categories needing special pre-approval, plus other boring bureaucratic rules. Lu Yuan ruthlessly cut him off. Register all categories right now. We will secure individual permits before launching anything. It is perfectly legal. Pushing up his glasses, the chief reviewed everything again and finally nodded. Fine. Materials are complete. Rush processing takes 3 days. How about today? He hesitated. You and I love a smart flex, right? Instead of arguing, Lu Yuan unlocked her phone and slid it across the counter. The screen showed me shaking hands with Director Wong, with the Finance Bureau conference room clearly visible right behind us. Clear as day. Our new company is a major priority enterprise recruited locally. Director Wong finalized everything yesterday. He specifically requested expedited procedures so our massive incoming investment would not be delayed by annoying paperwork. The chief glanced at that photo and his entire attitude underwent an instant renovation. Come grab it this afternoon. Meanwhile, Lu Yuan stormed off to get those seals carved, showing the fierce intensity of a truly sacred mission. I handled my own recruitment job, posting a flashy WeChat hiring announcement for our shiny new Yunming Investment Company Limited. Administrative manager, HR manager, executive secretary, and 2 drivers. Location, Yunming County. Pay is way above market rate. I attached a photo showing our building looking super glossy and corporate in sunlight. Then I opened TikTok, created an account named Yunming Investment, filmed a slick 15-second video slowly panning up the whole building, and proudly added the text, Yunming Investment Company Limited. Now hiring. Starting salary 5 million monthly, 0 ceiling. Locals definitely preferred. I spent 100 yuan on local digital promotion, leaned back, and confidently waited. My WeChat post totally flopped. My friends list was 90% Shanghai coworkers and college classmates. In 20 minutes, 3 tiny likes, 2 from former colleagues, 1 from mom, 0 messages. I almost gave up until a notification magically popped up. The profile picture showed a side-angle face shot, set against some ultra-fancy shopping district over in Chengdu. Luming. Is that you? No saved name. I clicked her moments. Most recent post was 3 days ago. Coffee cup photo tagged at Zhengzhou Airport. Caption read back. I excitedly scrolled further. A girl with beautiful long hair and a necklace posing on a Chengdu street. Next, a graduation photo. Bachelor's gown, holding flowers, smiling bright. With Sichuan University gate behind her. I instantly knew exactly who this was. Shunli, my high school classmate who sat 2 rows ahead. We can all agree she was the undisputed prettiest class girl, a title nobody ever bothered challenging. Let's dive into this wild story. She went to college in Chengdu, and honestly, we hadn't spoken since graduation. She was just a familiar face on my timeline. I sent a quick, "It is me." She replied instantly. You are back in Yunming? I saw your post about starting a company here. Just registered. Wow. Impressive, she said. What kind? An investment firm. 1 minute of total silence passed. Then she asked to meet up, saying she just returned too. I'm just chilling at home. You are in Yunming? Back 2 days ago. I just stared at my screen. A top university grad building her career in the city, suddenly back in our tiny town. Something felt off. But curiosity completely won out. Sure thing. Where to? She dropped a pin. The old part of town, by the Jinwang supermarket entrance. I started the engine and cruised over. About 8 minutes later, I pulled up to the curb. A girl was waiting on the steps. Simple white shirt, jeans, canvas shoes. A bag slung over her shoulder, hair blowing in the breeze. Just clean, effortless beauty. The kind that literally makes you forget how to speak. I rolled down my window and told her to hop in. She looked up, spotted my Maybach hood ornament, and briefly looked shocked before flashing a calm smile. She hopped in the back. Now pay attention here, because a few years had totally transformed her. That quiet high school girl was gone, placed by someone totally polished, even rocking a basic tee and jeans. She held herself like she belonged in a totally different world than our tiny county. In the sunlight, her natural face was almost unfairly pretty. Long time no see, she said. It was the exact same voice from high school. Clear, with that little cheerful lift. I glanced at her through the rear view mirror. Where should we chat? Anywhere works. You choose. Have you eaten yet? Not really. I thought about it for a second, turned the wheel, and suggested we grab some stewed noodles. She laughed from the back. Picking me up in a Maybach just for a noodle shop? Lumming. Your style is incredibly unique. But then she paused, locking eyes with me in the mirror, playful, turned totally serious. I saw your job post, the HR manager role. I want to apply. Meanwhile, our noodle shop lacked a sign, just a hole in the wall with cheap plastic tables out front. The tables were still wet from a lazy wipe. Honestly, the kind of spot that would make a health inspector cry. But the food? Absolutely amazing. 2 bowls of lamb stew, heavy on the chili for one. I shouted our order, then asked Shunli if she handled spice. I lived in Sichuan for years, she joked. Fair point. The steaming bowls arrived fast. She grabbed her chopsticks, but sipped the broth first, totally civilized. So, when did you actually return? 2 days ago, she replied. I was just chilling at home, scrolling on my phone when your post popped up. She rested her chopsticks. I know what you're thinking. And she thought the exact same thing. I read it 3 times, thinking you got hacked. You sat behind me for 3 whole years. You were so incredibly quiet. You were basically part of the furniture. Your class rank was around 200, and you failed math. I just picked up my bowl and calmly sipped my broth. So you were saying I had major character development? No, she laughed, waving her hands. Just that you improved insanely fast. Nice save. Since she wanted that HR manager role, this casual noodle lunch had officially turned into a serious job interview. I fired off some questions. She had studied human resources at Sichuan University. Post-graduation, she joined a massive tech company in Chengdu as an HR partner. 300 employees. She managed recruiting and performance for 2 entire business units over 2.5 years. So why leave? Her chopsticks completely stopped. Layoffs. They axed the business teams, middle management, and finally, human resources cut themselves. I was in the final waves. Got a token severance, around 40,000 after taxes. She delivered the facts totally, flatly. Zero drama, strictly facts. I didn't pry. Corporate layoffs have basically been a national sport lately. Nothing shocking there. After that, you didn't look for another gig in Chengdu? She swallowed her noodles and wiped her mouth. Looked for 3 whole months, sent hundreds of resumes, interviewed at dozens of spots. Lowball offers or totally sketchy companies. She looked me straight in the eye. Rent 2,500, food 1,000, plus transport. My severance vanished in 3 months. Did the math. 2 choices. Borrow cash to survive, or take a miserable low-paying job. Neither worked. So you came home? Yes. I finished my meal and pushed my bowl away. You managed 300 people there. Now, you want to handle HR for my brand new shell company with literally 0 employees? Doesn't that feel like a massive downgrade? She gave a tired, brutally honest smile. Lumming, know what the requirement for feeling overqualified is. Having options. If I had any left, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here drinking cheap lamb soup with you. Brutally honest. I leaned back. So what do you and I make of this? Let's talk salary. What are you actually worth? Stick with me here. In Xingyu, her base pay was 10,000 monthly. With bonuses, it reached about 160,000 total. She paused, looking nervous. If you offer 8,000, I can manage. But any lower? Her hands literally shook, holding that glass of water. You'll manage HR and admin combined. 0 team at first. Recruiting, payroll, attendance, office supplies. Everything is entirely on your shoulders. She stared at me for 2 whole seconds. You don't negotiate? No time. If I spend 20 minutes haggling over 500 yuan, that's 20 minutes. You aren't doing actual work. Just take the money and earn it. She lowered her glass. One more question, she hesitated. What will this company actually do? An investment firm is just an empty shell. You can hide anything inside. If we're just flipping local real estate or running some random shop, I'm absolutely out. I stared right back at her. Outside, a rusty farm truck puttered past. That classic diesel engine roared, completely drowning out the restaurant noise for a few heavy seconds. When it passed, I finally spoke. You lived in Chengdu for 4 whole years. How did it feel coming back here? She blinked, clearly thrown off by the sudden topic change. How did it feel? She paused, thinking deeply. Like waking up and finding time completely frozen. The exact same rows, the same old shops, even that same guy selling candied fruit on the corner. Just like high school. Nothing changed. Exactly, I replied. Nothing changed here. Anyone who could escape already left. Everyone left behind is just barely surviving. A 60,000 person county without a real mall. The youth just flee. Now watch this pivot. Only old folks and kids stay. I want to change that, I said. She froze. The exact details needed planning, but the direction was locked. Step 1: build industries and create real jobs. Step 2: build strong support systems, schools, hospitals, and infrastructure so locals actually stay. Step 3: bring the people back. Maybe even attract outsiders to move here. She stayed completely quiet for a while. How much money does something like that require? A lot. Do you have it? Yes. She stared into my eyes. The noodle shop's old fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting an uneven, dramatic glow across my face. She had seen plenty of bosses before. Her old CEO in Chengdu sounded like a true visionary during press conferences, then scammed employees out of their social insurance. Cheap talkers were a dime a dozen. But I wasn't giving some grand speech. I wasn't performing. I spoke the exact same way I always did back in high school. Flat voice, zero expression. Like I wasn't describing some wild dream, but reading a bus schedule. Apparently, that was far more convincing than any corporate PowerPoint. Okay, she stood up and extended her hand. Mr. Liu, I genuinely look forward to working with you. I shook it. Tomorrow at 8:30. New district, Ingbin Road, the 6-story glass building. Can you find it? I'll definitely find it. One more thing. I was halfway out the door, then turned back around. Put together a solid recruiting plan within the next few days. I need a team built as fast as humanly possible, she nodded. Right after I left, she called her mom. Mom, I found a job. Her mom paused. Where? Here. In the county. The county? Good. Good. Nice and close to home. She hung up. For the past 2 days since returning, her mom's most frequent, annoying suggestion had been 3 simple words. Blind date time. You know the vibe, right? Like a hometown girl's only career path is finding a husband. She leaned against that rusty rolling shutter, just staring up at the bright sky. The sky over Yinming County really was much bluer than Qing's. At least the little town had that going for it. At 3 o'clock. Lu Yuan suddenly called. Business license is totally done. That fast? Please. Look who handled it. I could literally hear her beaming pride. Company seal. Financial seal. EU representative seal. All flawlessly carved. Bank account appointment is set for tomorrow morning. Nicely done. One more thing. Her tone suddenly shifted. Careful now. While grabbing the license, I ran into someone. A guy from the County Land Resources Bureau, surname Joe. He heard about you buying that huge building. Don't ask me how. He practically begged me for your personal phone number. What did he want? Well, he said. Lu Yuan lowered her voice dramatically. He said there's a 100-acre plot of industrial land out at Shilapu village. Been listed for 2 whole years. Nobody has touched it. He wants to know if you're interested. 100 acres of prime industrial land just sitting there, waiting for some idiot with way too much money and absolutely zero clue what he's doing. Basically, it was waiting for me. 100 acres of industrial land. I simply told the guy on the phone, let's talk tomorrow. Crazy, right? I hung up, needing a second to process that the universe was literally throwing massive real estate at me like cheap spam emails. That exact night, I pulled up the satellite map on my laptop. Shilipu village, 7 kilometers southeast of our town. On screen, it looked like a giant, boring brown rectangle of nothingness next to a provincial highway, with a tiny irrigation canal on top and endless farmland stretching out in every single direction. The satellite resolution was so terribly bad. It looked like someone snapped the photo using a potato, but I could easily tell the ground was flat. Next, I checked the county's official Land Bureau website. The design was from approximately 2008, loading like it was running on a struggling hamster wheel. Stick with me here, half the page was broken. Code. But I finally found the listing. Shilipu village plot, 100 acres, 50-year lease, 240,000 each, total 24 million. Listed 2 years, 0 buyers, 24 million for 100 acres, and nobody cared. That completely proves how terrible this local economy really was. Not one single business here needed to expand. Everything was shrinking. I closed the laptop, lay in bed, staring up. Midnight system refresh hit perfectly on schedule. Today brought in 6 million yuan. Balance updated to 216 million. Over 200 million sitting safely in my account. Total spent was practically zero. My massive bank balance grew way faster than I could ever actually spend it. Like emptying an ocean with a tiny spoon, while the water just got deeper every single night. Next morning at 8, I drove straight to the building. Lu Yuan was already there, crouching behind the main reception desk, literally wiring up electrical cables with tape. Wait, you actually know how to do electrical work? I walked over, completely shocked. Learned it on TikTok 20 minutes ago. She never even looked up. I called the property management company. Management said they would send someone. I will retire before they arrive. This girl would earn every cent of that 50,000. 10:30. Appointment at the agricultural bank. She stood up, dusted off her pants, and pulled a brown envelope from her bag. That glorious business license was finally in my hands. Yunming Investment Company. Legal representative, Lu Ming. Capital, 100 million yuan. It was completely real. I actually had a company. I was officially a CEO. My mom was totally going to either faint or end my life. At 8:40, silver Volkswagen rolled up, and out stepped a guy in his 40s. Short-sleeved blue shirt, Casio watch, short hair, tan skin, walking with a forward lean, like he was permanently in a rush. This was Zhao Yan from the Land Resources Bureau. He instantly spotted that Maybach key on the reception desk. His eyes locked onto it like a heat-seeking missile. Mr. Lu, he power-walked over, shaking my hand. Zhao Yan, Land and Minerals Division. I spoke with your sister yesterday. Zero small talk. I completely respect that. He sat down and immediately pulled up photos on his phone. Flat yellow dirt, concrete boundary markers, a distant highway in the background. Why did nobody buy it for 2 whole years? I asked directly. He rubbed his fingers together. You and I know exactly what that gesture means. 3 reasons. First, it is very far from town. 0 real infrastructure. Second, absolutely no industrial cluster around it. Build a factory alone out there, and your entire supply chain travels from outside. Way too expensive. Third, he paused, looking right at me. Go on. 3 years ago, the county recruited a pipe manufacturing company from Hab. They promised to build a factory. The county cleared land, started building roads, and rolled out the red carpet welcome mat. Then funding completely collapsed. Project died. The land sat there ever since, just like a heartbroken bride abandoned at the altar. Let us go check it out right now. Zhao Yan practically levitated straight out of his chair in pure excitement. He made it halfway to the door before finally catching himself. Take your car, or mine? All 3 of us hopped into the Maybach. Lu Yuan in the passenger seat, Zhao Yan in the back. Settling into that rear seat, his entire body just completely froze. I caught him secretly touching the leather, then glancing up at that starry sky ceiling. His Adam's apple totally bobbed in awe. Absolute silence. Just a man processing pure luxury in real time. We drove southeast along the highway. Leaving town, the scenery flipped instantly. Shops and buildings vanished, completely replaced by endless wheat fields and rows of poplar trees. We turned onto a narrow cement path that was basically more pothole than road. The Maybach suspension worked overtime, absorbing bumps like a silent hero. But some craters were so incredibly deep that even German engineering hit its limits. 8 minutes later, we stopped by the edge of a massive open space, and I stepped out. The wind hit immediately. I promise you, this plot was way bigger than the photos showed. 100 acres, roughly 10 whole football fields. Just flat yellow earth stretching everywhere, with faded red ribbons fluttering on those concrete boundary posts at every single corner. North side, a shallow irrigation canal where you could see the bottom, with tall weeds lining the banks. Down south, the provincial highway looked decent, with massive trucks rumbling past carrying heavy cement. Out east, a row of low-gray brick and red tile houses had giant characters painted on every single wall strictly prohibiting burning crop stubble. Very important civic messaging. I walked the entire perimeter. Lu Yuan followed closely, sketching a rough map. Zhao Yan trailed behind like an excited puppy, pointing out details every single time I slowed down. Power lines here, gas pipes below. Are you ready to see what happens next? Water pipes are by the canal. Utilities are totally set. Water, power, and road access. Finished. The gas line is about 300 meters away. Stick with me here. The guy was super thorough. I crouched down fast and grabbed a huge handful of the dirt. I rolled it between my fingers. Medium grain, yellowish brown, not loose, not sticky. This used to be crop fields. The villagers got properly compensated during the land buyout. The paperwork is completely flawless. He pulled out several photocopies from his bag. Land transfer contracts, environmental checks, and planning permits. I skimmed past the boring legal words to check the numbers. Floor area ratio 1.5. Maximum building density 50%. Minimum green coverage 15%. Listed at 24 million, without a single yuan increase in 2 solid years. Zhao Yin shook his head. Honestly, the leadership says if anyone shows genuine interest, the price is totally negotiable. I handed back the files, stood up, dusted the dirt off my hands, and walked right to the absolute center of the plot. I spun around in a slow circle. 360 degrees of wind, wheat fields, the distant highway, and Yunming County's faint skyline on the horizon. Standing right there, an idea clicked. I remembered that sad Wanjiafu shopping center with half its third floor totally empty. I thought about a county where entertainment means mahjong, TikTok, and casually drinking. I pictured 60,000 people having absolutely nowhere to spend their cash, even if they wanted to. This plot of land seemed really isolated, but it sat right on the main road. Traffic was already flowing nicely. Cars brought people, and people meant loyal customers. Customers meant serious money, and money meant jobs. Not a factory, something better. Section Chief Zhao. Now watch this closely. I faced him directly. What if I build a massive shopping and entertainment complex right here instead of a boring factory? How long would the approval take at your office? Zhao Yin's mouth just dropped wide open. He closed it, then opened it again. Far away in the distance, a heavy sand truck rumbled down the highway, completely clueless that it had just driven past the spectacular future center of Yunming County. A shopping complex? Zhao Yin literally twitched. Just straight up twitched. He stared at me for a few seconds, confirming I wasn't joking. He rubbed his nose. Mr. Liu, that's a huge leap. This land is zoned industrial. Can it be changed? Yes, it can. He let out a heavy sigh, ready to explain why this technical possibility was practically impossible. The entire process is an absolute nightmare. Converting industrial to commercial land. We simply call it industrial to commercial conversion. Step 1. Submit a report to the county government asking for adjustments to the main land use plan and the urban-rural plan. The county cannot approve that by themselves. It goes to the city, maybe even the provincial bureau. I just stayed completely quiet. I let him talk. Step 2. After plans get approved, the government takes the land back and relists it through a public auction. You cannot just buy it as is. You must bid on it again at the trading center. Step 3 is the absolute killer. You pay the price difference between industrial and commercial land rates. It is a completely different universe of pricing. The whole process involves so much paperwork and stamp collecting, you would exhaust your legs. Lu Yuan was furiously scribbling notes. Fastest timeline? Zhao Yin just laughed bitterly. Fastest. Let that sink in for a second. Even if the entire city fully supports you, it is 8 months minimum. Just one hiccup means waiting a year and a half. And in Yunming County, 0 industrial to commercial conversions have successfully happened in 10 years and 8 months. I quickly did the math in my head. 60 million a day times 240 days equals 14.4 billion yuan. Piling up. In my account, going absolutely nowhere. 14 billion turning into completely meaningless screen digits. While my county stayed stagnant and the major population goal remained a pure fantasy. I couldn't wait 8 whole months. I couldn't even wait 8 weeks. I turned and walked right back to the Maybach. Get in. We're going back. Zhao Yin just stood there holding his papers, completely confused. Mr. Liu, you're passing? A factory would work too. Food processing or garment manufacturing. The county actually has subsidies. Factories are way too slow. I sat in the driver's seat and rolled down the window. Section Chief Zhao, thanks for your time today. I'll buy you dinner sometime. The car spun around fast, kicked up a dust cloud, and shot straight back onto the busy highway. In the rearview mirror, Zhao Yin stood totally alone in 100 acres of emptiness, shaking his head and stuffing documents back into his bag. Sorry, buddy. Completely different plan. Inside the car, absolute silence. Bro, what are you actually doing? Lu Yuan closed her notebook. 20 million on an office building. And now, you want a whole shopping mall? What is the biggest shopping center in the county right now? Wanjifu. She made a weird face. It is in the new district, but basically on life support. Tell me more. It opened 5 years ago. Yunming's absolute #1 shopping destination. Wang Dafa owns it, a construction guy turned retail mogul. Online shopping absolutely crushed his business. Trust me, you're going to want to see what happens next. Stick with me here. The youth vanished, leaving only grandparents as the customers. Downstairs sells cheap eggs to barely survive. The second-level clothing shops are totally empty, while the top-floor dining spots are fading fast. This entire place is essentially a giant air conditioning lounge for bored retirees. I aggressively spun the steering wheel. Let us check it out. 10 minutes later, our Maybach reached Wanjifu Plaza. It stood 3 levels high in red and white metal, but years of harsh weather totally washed out the color into a sad, rusty orange. Broken bulbs ruined the glowing front sign, leaving the Wanjifu name cut completely in half. It honestly looked like the entire building was glitching. We pushed past those thick plastic door flaps, the exact kind that instantly proved this place stopped caring about giving good first impressions. Getting blasted by insane smells, cheap perfume, greasy fried snacks, and loud air conditioning, working way harder than the actual staff. Level 1, supermarket. Right by the door, an aggressive crowd of grandmas swarmed a huge pile of cheap toilet paper like it was the ultimate rare item drop. We rode the stairs up. The metal squealed exactly like a broken machine. Level 2, fashion zone. Tiny glass boutiques were squeezed tightly together, offering messy styles and wild colors that even my mom would absolutely reject. Flashy reds, shocking neon greens, and massive floral prints that looked completely and utterly ridiculous. Bored owners chilled on cheap plastic chairs outside, loudly cracking sunflower seeds while blasting TikTok videos on absolute maximum volume. Now watch this part. So many loud screens, yet nobody noticed us. See that? Lu Yuan whispered. My own mother would call these outfits hopelessly old. They ask for 280, but offer 50, and they might literally hug you happily. Almost a third of these second-level shops were locked tight, with prime spot for rent badly printed on plain paper taped to the metal. Calling this a prime spot was a massive stretch, honestly. Level 3 was terribly worse. This area used to be the lively food and fun zone. The kids' play space, featuring a faded ball pit and tall climbing tower, sat closed. Those bright plastic balls were completely dusty. It felt exactly like the messy aftermath of a wild kid's birthday party from 3 years ago. That nobody ever cleaned. Half the eateries were closed. The remaining spots had totally greasy signs and the depressing energy of shops facing absolute ruin. I strolled into authentic yellow braised chicken rice, seeing only 2 busy tables. The boss, a chubby 30-something dude, slouched behind his register, intensely gaming on his glowing phone. Are you completely blind? They stole the epic dragon and you just watched, he loudly yelled. Truly amazing customer service right there. I took an empty seat. The tabletop felt gross, sticky in a way, proving it had been filthy since opening day and would stay that ruined until the very end of time itself. Boss, 2 small yellow braised chicken bowls. Mild spice, please. I shouted. He ignored me. Just scan the barcode right on the table. Edge. WeChat or Alipay works. Lu Yuan paid up, grabbed rough napkins, and aggressively scrubbed our sticky table. I know what you are thinking. Maybach for sticky chicken? Pure market research, I firmly claimed. 15 minutes passed before the boss slammed 2 heavy clay pots down, splashing hot broth absolutely everywhere across the table, then rudely walked right away. Hey, boss. I paused him and offered a fresh cigarette. He noticed my shiny premium brand. Excellent quality. His mood magically improved by 20%. He grabbed it, placed it safely behind his ear, and finally sat down. Things seem quiet, I said. Quiet? I'm going completely bankrupt. He dropped into the chair and sighed. Under 30 daily orders. I cannot even cover basic rent anymore. Rent high, 80,000 yearly. 2 years ago, that was totally fine. Now, this place is an abandoned wasteland under fluorescent lights. Notice those closed stores across the hall? He pointed at the locked gates. Last month, everyone literally bailed, ignoring their cash deposits completely. They packed their heavy gear during the midnight hours and sprinted away like absolute cowards. The management here does nothing? Do what, exactly? With zero funds? He snorted, glanced around the room, leaned closer, and dramatically dropped his voice. Wang Dafa is drowning in crazy loan shark debt. He tried building massive city real estate, but it failed horribly. His cash flow completely shattered. This failing mall cannot even pay the loyal cleaners. 3 whole months of unpaid wages. Angry downstairs. Suppliers block the doors daily, demanding their cash. Do you actually have Wang Dafa's personal phone number? Why would a total nobody like me have that powerful boss's contact? He shook his head slowly, pointing directly downstairs. But the main supermarket manager down there, some guy named Lu, is his actual brother-in-law. He absolutely has it. Furious. Suppliers scream at him whenever they need their money. I nodded knowingly, grabbed my smartphone, and sent 500 yuan over instantly. Thanks for the intel, boss. Keep that extra cash for cigarettes. He stared at the payment, alert, eyes massive. No, wait. Are you collecting debts too? This is where we pause. Trust me, things get wild. Trust me, you are going to love this part. Our guy smiled and marched straight downstairs to hand over some serious cash. Manager Lu was down here somewhere. He was the golden ticket to the main boss. 2,000 square meters is a decent size. But honestly, this place looked like it had been slowly dying for months. Sure, the shelves were organized, but with gaps huge enough to literally park bicycles inside. They just had random empty cardboard boxes pretending to be actual promotional displays. 2 huge fridges in the fresh produce section were completely powered off. The veggies gave up on life yesterday, and nobody even bothered breaking the sad news to any of the customers near the checkout lanes. 2 lanes were staffed. One cashier was totally passed out napping. The other cashier was watching a romance drama on her phone. Volume low, so the entire place just had this faint, hilarious soundtrack of ancient flirting playing. He followed the sign straight to the back office, passing a half-empty warehouse. One dude eating instant noodles on a forklift gave him that universal bro nod to casually acknowledge his existence. Then, he walked down the hallway to a gray fire door. Someone literally printed no unauthorized entry on A4 paper and taped it to the door. One corner was peeling. He pushed it open. A 20 square meter room with 3 simple desks. The massive desk by the window belonged to a round-faced guy with a receding hairline, wearing a wrinkled blue polo with the Wi-Fi logo on his chest. His desk was completely buried under receipts. Now watch closely, because this reaction is pure gold. Account books, cigarette packs, and a tragic ashtray everywhere. The second that door opened, the dude absolutely launched out of his chair. His face went totally pale. He screamed that payments would definitely be made next month. Then, he finally saw our boy. Did not recognize him. Full stop. Error. Reboot. Who are you? Manager Lu. Who is asking? Lu Ming. Yunning Investment Company Limited. Lu Ming just strolled in and pulled up a chair like he owned the place. Which, honestly, he was about to try and do anyway. Then he sat down. Just need a few minutes. Manager Lu stayed standing, hands glued to his desk, in absolute full defensive mode. Yunning Investment? Never heard of it. Supplier? Nope. Debt collector? Also no. His entire body instantly deflated with pure, heavy relief. His shoulders dropped 2 inches. He sank back down, frantically digging through the messy ashtray for a surviving cigarette. Finding absolutely nothing, he grabbed a crushed pack from his drawer. Then what do you want? Our hero just pulled out his own pack and offered him one. Lu took it, checked the fancy brand, nodded approvingly, and lit up. I want to meet Wang Dafa. His hand froze mid-puff. Business? He is not seeing anyone, he exhaled, shaking his head. Lately, he refuses to meet anyone, barely answers his phone. If you want to rent a space in Wanjiafu, talk to me. Plenty of openings available. very negotiable pricing. He delivered that line sounding exactly like a doctor pretending a dying patient was just resting comfortably. They both knew the patient was already dying. I do not want to rent space. He crossed his legs, tapping his knee. We both felt that tension, right? I want to buy Wanjifu. Complete silence. His cigarette almost dropped. Buy the entire thing. Building, land, brand, full package. Deal. I will take everything. The manager just stared, eyes darting from his face right down to his designer shoes. Running a frantic internal wealth assessment algorithm. Kid. Zero disrespect. But how old are you anyway? 25. Just 25. And you want to buy an entire shopping center? Do you even know how much Wanjifu is actually worth? You tell me. He slowly crushed his cigarette into the ashtray, squinting sideways. When my brother-in-law built this place, land and construction alone cost over 40 million. Gear and fit out added another 10 million. We are talking 50 to 60 million total. And you want to buy it? He didn't argue, just smoothly pulled out his phone, pinned up a photo, and turned the screen to face him. The new city commercial building, glass walls perfectly reflecting a blue sky. His eyes locked on. Then, he calmly swiped to the next photo. The property certificate naming holder, Lu Ming. He leaned forward, mouth hanging open, while cigarette ash quietly fell onto his desk unnoticed. That is the new district. The abandoned, the startup park. Not a startup park anymore. That is my office building now. He put his phone away. Manager Lu, I will be direct. You know Wanjifu's terrible situation way better than I do. The third floor is half closed. Second floor, a third empty. Angry suppliers banging doors demanding money. Cleaning staff unpaid for 3 months. Your brother-in-law's funding chain is officially snapped. This place cannot survive much longer. Better to sell now while someone is actually willing to buy, rather than watching it slowly rot from the inside out. He said nothing. He took 2 savage drags on his cigarette, the tip glowing angry red. I cannot make this decision. I know. That is why I need Wang Dafa's number. He hesitated for a long time, picked up his phone, scrolled contacts, put it down, then picked it up again. Are you guys actually legit here? Check with the county government. Director Wang knows me. More hesitation. A heavy sigh. You and I know he's hooked. Come along with me. He slid a scribbled sticky note across the desk. That right there's his brother-in-law's highly guarded private number. But a quick warning. His temper is absolute garbage right now. Hangs up on everyone. If he screams at you, that is your own problem. Got it. I shoved the note into my pocket and walked out. Near the supermarket doors, my phone suddenly buzzed. A WeChat message from Shinli. Mr. Lu, I am at the company, but nobody is here. I texted back immediately. Keys are stashed in the flower bed out front. Take a look inside. Start organizing the floor layout by function. I will head back once I finish. I saved Wang Dafa's number, but absolutely did not call. It required serious strategy. You never call a drowning guy and cheerfully say, hey, I want to buy your sinking ship. You need that perfect number, one that stings enough to make him let go, but not so pathetic he chooses to sink. I hopped into the Maybach, blasted the AC, and soaked in the silence. Soon Lu Yuan marched out of Wanjifu, clutching a plastic grocery bag. She hopped in, carefully tucking it by her feet. Eggs are just $3.90 a pound. What a steal. She clicked her seatbelt. So, what kind of intel did you get? I grabbed Wang Dafa's number. Now, just need to pinpoint the exact right price. She leaned her chin on her hand, looking curious. Why do you want this crusty supermarket anyway? It hardly screams cash cow. I just smirked. Well, is Pangdong Lai profitable? Well, obviously it is. Her eyes instantly went huge. Wait a second, you are not planning to turn Wanjifu into a Pangdong Lai. Watch closely, because this is where the genius strikes. I kept driving calmly. Pangdong Lai is awesome, but Yining County needs no copycat. It needs its very own local miracle. She froze in absolute silence, gripping her discount eggs, staring at me like I was an utter genius or totally insane. Honestly, probably both. I cruised back toward the office, nervously folding and unfolding that phone number. The true challenge? Finding a price that makes a desperate man absolutely wince, but still nod yes. Too high, I look like an idiot. Too low, he slams the phone down. But first, let me check what Shinli accomplished inside the building. Those discount eggs could definitely wait. The miracle could not. I parked the Maybach out front and strolled right into the lobby. For a split second, I genuinely thought I walked into the wrong address. The floor? Flawless. Not just a lazy mop job. We are talking aggressively, sparkling clean. Those gray tiles were literally damp and shining bright. The circular front desk was wiped absolutely spotless. And right on top sat a random glass vase, found from who knows where, crammed full of random roadside wildflowers. Yellow and white petals leaning everywhere, looking like a delightfully messy, tiny little bouquet. It had absolutely zero right being that charming. But wow. Shinli stood by the stairs, wielding a marker and masking tape like weapons of mass organization. Lu Yuan spotted her instantly. Oh wow, Shinli, it is you. She spun around. Lu Yuan, why are you here? I blinked in surprise. You two actually know each other? Lu Yuan flashed a cheeky grin. Pretty girl business. Stay out of it, boss. Shinli just smiled. We were friends back in high school. Awesome. That saves me a whole introduction. I nodded toward the steps. Alright, show me the grand plan. You and I both love a hard worker, right? Reaching the second floor, my brain completely short-circuited. Every single glass wall was covered in masking tape. Every single piece was perfectly labeled. CEO office, finance department, HR, and admin, conference room A and B, reception, break zone, and archives. She had only been here for 3 hours. 3 hours. I strolled down the hall while she led the tour, acting like she owned the place for years. Second floor is your main operational hub. We smashed the 3 south-facing rooms together. Bam, your CEO suite, complete with the private bathroom and lounge area. Next door is finance, then HR and admin across from it. Keep the current conference rooms, just buy some shiny new projectors. The hallway end transforms into a massive break room. When your team grows, they will definitely need a place to chill. Third floor is multi-purpose. Once business explodes, convert that space into a training facility or extra offices. Floors 4 and 5 remain locked until we hire enough staff. And the 6th floor mega hall, leave it totally untouched. Save that beast for major investor events. Lu Yuan trailed behind us, trying so hard not to look impressed, but totally failing. But hitting the finance department label, she just had to speak up. Hey, this room faces dead north. Heating bills in winter will be brutal. Shinli just turned around with a perfectly calm smile. Finance requires absolute silence and intense focus. North-facing rooms offer steady light, zero blinding sun glare, and prevent daytime drowsiness. Perfect for crunching numbers. As for heating, we simply upgrade the insulation during the remodel or install better units. The exact costs are negotiable. Lu Yuan's mouth just twitched, utterly speechless. When a pro makes freezing in an office sound like a brilliant tactical advantage, you just nod and accept it. I stepped straight into the newly designated CEO office zone. 80 square meters, epic sunlight, and clear views of Yingbin Road. Trust me, you and I will love watching this business empire rise from here. Let's dive in. Basic gray tiles, white walls, empty as my old Shanghai social life. Furniture, equipment, network wiring. I made a list. Shinli then pulled a folded paper from her pocket. I scanned it. This wasn't just a list. It was a literal military supply manifest. Exact brands and models for every single desk. Monthly printer ink usage. She even specified the exact brand of hand dryers to install in the bathrooms. Hand dryers. Arriving at 9 a.m., she already had strong opinions on hand dryers. At the bottom sat a handwritten note. Prioritize local suppliers. Total estimate, 340 to 420,000 yuan. Arrival time? I asked. 9 a.m. You did this in 3 hours? She pocketed her marker. When I worked HR, my old company actually relocated 3 separate times. Every single time, admin dragged me in as labor. I've pulled cables, hauled heavy servers, and drilled through solid walls. This is nothing. I folded her list, slid it away, and walked right to the window. Back turned to them, I spoke. Split the renovation work. Shinli handles the master plan and all procurement. Lu Yuan manages payments and accounting. Budget ceiling is 500,000. Source everything locally. I want this finished in 10 days. 10 days? Lu Yuan yelled. Bro, a neighbor took 2 entire weeks just renovating 1 bathroom, then hire 5 crews and run them simultaneously. She quickly rolled her eyes, set down her discount eggs, grabbed a notebook, and started furiously calculating. Now watch this move. Shinli didn't waste 1 syllable, heading downstairs, immediately dialing her phone. Her voice echoed straight up the stairwell. Hi, is this the county building materials market? I need to ask about wholesale pricing for office furniture. Then, the hall went quiet. I pulled a sticky note from my pocket, 11 digits in blue ink. Manager Lu's handwriting wasn't pretty, but every single number was perfectly legible. I dialed. 6 rings. Who's this? The voice was incredibly scratchy and smoky, the exact tone of a man chain smoking his way through massive problems. Hello, Mr. Wong. My name is Lu, representing Yunning Investment Company Limited. 2 seconds of silence. Don't know you. What do you want? I want to discuss Wanjifu. 2 more seconds of silence. Much longer this time. I actually heard him taking a deep, slow drag on his cigarette through the phone. Where exactly did you get my personal number? From a friend. Which friend? Not important. I casually leaned against the window frame. Mr. Wong, know Wanjifu's entire situation. 3rd floor restaurants are half closed. 2nd floor vacancy is over 30%. 1st floor suppliers are literally lining up demanding their money. And your big real estate project in the city isn't going well either. Through the phone, a chair squeaked sharply as he sat bolt upright. Who the heck are you? His voice pitched up higher. The guy here to give you money. You feel that tension? Dead silence. 5, 6 seconds passed. Then Wang Dafa finally spoke. His defensiveness vanished, replaced by something tired but cautiously curious. You said you're an investment company? Yes. Yinming Investment. Newly registered. 3 days ago, I bought that commercial building in the new district. 20 million in full. Don't believe me? Go check with the housing bureau. Silence again. This pause stretched out even longer, but I didn't rush him. I had absolutely all the patience in the world. Plus, 60 million yuan, arriving at midnight, whether I used it or not. Half a minute later, his scratchy voice returned. What exactly are you saying? You want to invest? No games, straight shot, mister. Wang, I want to buy Wanjifu. A long, thoroughly exhausted sigh came through the receiver. The exact sound of years of bad decisions and endless sleepless nights. Fine. Tell me exactly how you want to handle this. Face to face. You pick the time and place. Tomorrow afternoon. Old Town, Tea House Street, Qingfang Pavilion. 3 o'clock. Done. I hung up and stared at the Yunming County skyline. If you could even call 5-story buildings a skyline. Tomorrow, I'd sit across from a broke, desperate man in a tea house and negotiate buying his failing shopping center. I would resurrect it into something this town had never seen before. Just another wild Tuesday when you receive 60 million yuan daily and have zero chill. Midnight system refresh hit perfectly on schedule, like a paycheck from the universe's greatest employer. Today's deposit, 60 million. Account balance, 300 million yuan. 300 million. I'd only spent about 22 million total across all my wild shopping sprees for a massive building, a sweet car, some noodles, and a foot massage. I couldn't sleep at all. 300 million in my bank, and I'm lying in bed doing phone math like a stressed student cramming for a huge exam. I opened my notes app and typed out absolutely everything I knew about Wanjifu. 4 acres, 6,000 square meters, 3 floors. Built 5 years ago for 55 million. Currently losing massive amounts of money everywhere. Suppliers demanding money. Unpaid staff. The owner completely drowning in debt from some horribly failed real estate project in the city. Estimated price, 12 to 15 million. Trust me, you'll want to see this logic unfold. Trust me here. 55 million drops to 30 million on paper. But that book value? A complete fairy tale. Nobody in Yinming County just has 30 million cash lying around for a dying mall. Wang Dafa needed the money right now, not later. In this entire county, the players who could actually swallow a deal this massive fit on one hand, and absolutely none of them would touch it. Except me, the crazy guy with 60 million a day and a literal magic bank account. Next day, 2:40 p.m., I drove out to the old side of town. Dao Street was hidden in an alleyway, all stone paths and lined with these heavily renovated, fake antique buildings. Calling it a street was generous. Just 4 tea shops, 2 mahjong parlors, and 1 tiny store selling herbal foot soak packets. Kingong Pavilion sat at the dead end. 2-story wooden building, bamboo curtain covering a half-open door. I pushed inside and immediately got hit with the thick wall of aged pure tea. The kind of smell screaming, serious business happens here. Downstairs, 2 old guys were quietly playing chess right next to their enamel mugs. A window table was set with tea gear waiting for us. Mr. Lu, a voice called from the stairs. I looked right up. Wang Dafa, early 50s, maybe 5'6", but broad shoulders, wearing a loose, untucked dark gray linen shirt. His face had that completely deflated look of a guy who hasn't slept in weeks. Heavy bags under his eyes, but his gaze was sharp, calculating. He was scanning me exactly like a pro poker player reading a new opponent. Now watch closely. This guy used to command rooms, but now the rooms command him. Mr. Wang. I walked up and extended my hand. He shook it, firm but quick. Upstairs in the private room, the tea was already brewed. He poured mine first. Good manners still completely intact, despite his life falling apart. Then poured his own. You don't look very old, he noted. 25. He repeated the number like he was tasting something incredibly bitter, then slowly reached out for his cigarette pack. Soft Zhonghua, the super fancy brand, but the pack was totally crushed and deformed, with only 2 cigarettes left inside. A luxury brand sitting inside poverty packaging. Honestly, a perfect metaphor for his entire situation. He lit one, then offered me the other. I don't smoke, but thank you. He took a long, heavy drag, smoke curling out of his nostrils like a beaten, tired dragon. 25 years old, bought a building, started a company, and now you want my mall. Who is your father? Mr. Wang asked. Heroes don't ask about origins. He stared at me for 3 seconds, didn't push it. 20 years in the brutal business. He'd met plenty of guys who hid their cards. Background doesn't matter here. Money does. You have been to Wanjiafu? I have. Impressions? I picked up my tea. Genuinely good stuff. Super smooth, deep, with a slow lingering sweetness. I set the cup down. I will be direct. Wanjiafu is a swimming pool with holes in the bottom. 3rd floor lost half its tenants. 2nd floor vacancy is over 30% by my count. 1st floor suppliers are literally banging on doors. Your cleaning staff hasn't been paid in 3 months. A muscle in his cheek twitched. You have done your homework, spent some real time. He crushed a cigarette into the ashtray and leaned forward. Mr. Lu, since you did your research, you should also know this. When I bought that land, the transfer fee alone was 12 million. 3 floors plus renovations cost 30 million. Equipment, shelving, cold chain systems. All together, 55 million. I know. 55 million. We both knew this was coming, right? I let the heavy silence work. Mr. Wang, 55 million was 5 years ago. Commercial real estate isn't gold. It doesn't automatically hold value. Your cold chain system? 2 giant refrigerators are already completely shut off. 2nd floor glass partitions have cracks. Nobody is fixing. That children's play area on the 3rd floor? The ball pit has a dust layer so thick I could write my name in it. The last time those balls got sanitized was probably last year. Maybe. His jaw tightened. Those are just surface issues, he said, voice dropping lower. The location totally speaks for itself. It is the most central commercial spot in the new district. You won't find another prime lot like this anywhere. I agree about the location, I nodded. But location is only worth something if the actual business sitting on it generates value. Wanjiafu isn't generating value right now, it's just consuming it. What's your monthly operating cost? Property management, utilities, wages, plus interest on supplier debts. You're burning at least 200,000 monthly. How many more months can you survive? That one landed. Direct hit. Wang Dafa stood up, walked to the window, and pushed open the wooden shutters. A light breeze rushed in, scattering the tea steam off the table. He stood with his back to me for 30 heavy seconds. Give me a number. His voice, barely a whisper. 15 million. He turned around. His face was doing about 6 different things at once, none of them happy. 15 million. I put in 55 million. And you offer 15? Mr. Wang, I'll be honest. My voice didn't change. Speed. If you don't sell to me, What is your plan? Keep going? Wait for the suppliers to sue and take absolutely everything? Or end up on the evening news for unpaid wages? Trust me, you and I both know he is completely trapped here. Let's dive in. You and I are about to witness the absolute coldest negotiation. Starting right as he lit his final cigarette. 20 million. He exhaled sharply. Below 20, we are done. The second he countered, I knew I completely owned him. If 15 was actually insulting, he would have stormed out. Pushing back meant 15 was definitely in the ballpark. He was suffering. He just wanted to suffer slightly less. I simply shook my head. 19. His jaw was locked tight. 15. I stared right back calmly. Mr. Wong, this is not a street market. Going back and forth is completely useless. 15 million for a 55 million property. Absolutely brutal. Yes, but I bet everything on one fact. Wong Dafa had 0 options left. Mr. Wong, correct me if I am wrong, but I am the only one who has asked about buying Wanju, right? Total silence. Why had nobody else showed up? Super obvious. In this business, absolutely nobody buys a sinking cash hole. In the entire Yunming County, I am literally the only guy who can save you. Still not a single word. I stopped talking, downed the rest of my tea, stood up, and fixed my shirt. It looks like Mr. Wong has not hit absolute rock bottom yet. So sorry for stepping out of line. Since we cannot agree, let us stop wasting time. I turned right around and headed for the stairs. 0 hesitation, never looking back. Smooth walking. You and I need to watch this, the confident walk of a man with 300 million yuan. Faking that he does not care. I was just about to grab the bamboo curtain when an incredibly hoarse voice called out from behind. Wait. My hand rested on that cool bamboo curtain. I purposely counted 2 full seconds in my head, finally let go, and turned around. Wong had not moved an inch. His cigarette burned completely down to the filter, ashes hanging by a thread, almost like it was waiting for his next move too. He glared intensely at his teacup, like it owed him cash. Sit down. His tone completely changed. The fight had totally vanished. I sat back. He smashed the cigarette into his ashtray way harder than he needed to. The ashtray was already packed full. A few butts spilled right onto the table. Casualties of negotiation. 16 million. Can we do that? He stared hard. I shook my head again. Kid, are you really fighting me over 1 single million? You bought a whole building without blinking. I smiled warmly. Mr. Wong, that was a totally different situation. We are talking about Wanja Fu today, and right now it is worth exactly what I said. 14 seconds passed. Fine. 15 million. I just nodded. No epic handshake. No intense background music. No cinematic slow-motion shot of 2 guys reaching across tables. A massive 15 million yuan deal finalized over tea and 2 cigarettes. Just like that. Pure, ruthless capitalism in a simple tea house. I will grab a lawyer to write the contract. Sending it tomorrow. I smirked. Please do not even wait until tomorrow. Wong Dafa reached back to the window, grabbed a super battered old briefcase, ripped the zipper open after 2 solid yanks, and pulled out a massive stack of paperwork. The property certificate, land use rights, equipment lists, and tenant contracts. He spread them out completely on the table. I brought it all. I checked the documents, then stared right at him. I know what you were thinking, this guy played tough. But he literally brought a briefcase packed with full transfer paperwork anyway. He was totally prepared to sell before even sitting. That whole intense negotiation was just pure acting. We both knew. Neither of us admitted it. Your lawyer or mine? I simply asked. There's only one good law firm around here. Yung Law Office over on Center Road. Boss is named Fong. Tell him Wong Dafa sent you. He will handle everything perfectly. Deal. I held out my hand. This time he grabbed it, squeezing tight. Not a normal greeting handshake. It was about finally letting a heavy burden go. Mr. Liu. He let go and tried to pour one final cup from that completely empty teapot. Nothing actually came out. He put it down anyway. Sit. I need to tell you something real. I sat down, recalling Woe opening. His eyes drifted far away. Firecrackers popped from one end of the street to the other. Red confetti flying everywhere. Every big county boss showed up. The local magistrate personally cut the ribbon. That exact feeling. I honestly felt invincible. Just a bricklayer building. The absolute biggest shopping center around. Everywhere I walked, Everybody respectfully called me Boss Wong. At restaurants, people literally fought to pay my tab. He paused. But you know how the next 5 years went. I stayed silent. First year, yeah, I made serious cash. But before that cash even got warm, the greedy vultures circled. The fire department randomly showed up, claimed my sprinkler system completely failed standards, needed major fixes. Sure, I will fix it, but they forced their specific chosen contractor. Quotes were literally double the market rate. Try hiring anybody else? They returned weekly to slap a forced closure notice on my door. The environmental department showed up next, claimed my exhaust emissions failed. I spent $600,000 hiring a top provincial crew for ventilation. Absolutely, up to every code. What do you and I learn here? They rejected his report, forcing another $80,000 test. He paid. Let's dive right in. 2 months pass. A new inspector arrived, claiming standards weren't met. Then city management appeared, saying my outdoor ad sign crossed their strict planning boundaries. The planning bureau originally approved that exact sign placement right after I bought the land, but city management held a completely different document. They claimed the local advertising rules were updated. Want to keep the sign? $3,000 a year for road fees. Then the tax bureau arrived, audited my books. They found non-standard expense reports, fined me. 6 months later, those guys came right back again. Said my past fixes didn't meet their brand new rules. Fined me again. He reached for the teapot. Completely empty. He just set it down. Year 3 was the absolute worst. I had just acquired prime city land for a massive residential project. A local county department official came looking for me. Said doing outside projects is fine, but remember your local duties. They demanded $500,000 in sponsorship fees for some internal event. I instantly refused. Then Wanja Fu's fire safety certificate needed renewal. They held it hostage for 4 months. 4 straight months with zero fire clearance. Technically, that entire shopping mall should have been completely closed. Every single day, it's an absolute fear of a real fire, because then money wouldn't fix it. Ultimately, I paid. He just physically deflated. Not $500,000. I negotiated down to $300,000. Paid up. Certificate approved the next morning. The room stayed dead quiet for ages. Watch closely, Mr. Liu. This isn't for your sympathy. He stood up, zipping his briefcase shut. I am warning you. You have serious money. You are young. You think you can fix this county. I thought that once, but a small town is not Shanghai. Shanghai has issues, but rules are rules. And the process is the process. But over here, the rules are made by people. The process entirely depends on whose face they are seeing. If you do not understand how things operate around here, you could dump massive money into this place and not hear a single splash. I stared at him. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Do not thank me. He tucked the briefcase under his arm, walked to the door, stopped, and never turned around. The Wanja Fu name. Are you keeping it? No. What are you changing it to? Have not decided yet. He nodded, pushed past the bamboo curtain, and left. His heavy footsteps faded down that wooden staircase, stepping one at a time, getting quieter until they totally vanished. I sat there completely alone, replaying everything he said. Fire department, environmental bureau, city management, and tax authority. Every single department acted like a checkpoint. Every checkpoint hit a person, and every person demanded a hefty price. Back during my social media days, I honestly thought corporate clients were the most difficult creatures on planet Earth. Turns out, clients are innocent baby lambs compared to local bureaucrats holding rubber stamps and incredibly flexible ethics. I had already tasted this harsh reality myself. You and I saw this coming. The finance bureau tried skimming 30% of my profits before I earned 1 single yuan. They disguised it as supporting local development, but we know the ugly truth. Then my phone rang. It was Zhao Yan, the land bureau official. Mr. Liu. His voice vibrated with pure excitement. I reported to the director about that industrial to commercial land conversion. He says we can treat this like a priority project. We will try fast-tracking it. It remains difficult, but with everyone fully cooperating, your massive shopping complex will surely be built super fast. I just smiled. Section chief, I actually changed my mind. Huh? That land? I have totally different plans for it now. because converting 100 acres of industrial land into a huge shopping center was no longer necessary. I just bought one for 15 million yuan from a completely shattered man inside a quiet tea house. Plus, he gave me something way more valuable than property certificates. A map of every single landmine hidden underneath this corrupt county's fake, smiling surface. Junction Law Office was awkwardly sandwiched between a print shop and a cigarette and liquor wholesale store right on Center Road. Its brass nameplate had green rust creeping across the letters, like wild ivy trying to reclaim the building for nature. Yeah, very prestigious. Extremely confidence-inspiring, right? I pushed open that old glass door. The receptionist was some fresh college grade, round face, wearing chunky glasses, currently busy fixing contract formatting on her old computer. She handed me a cheap paper cup of warm water. Its rim had tiny paper fibers sticking out. I chose to view that as quirky, rustic charm, rather than them just buying the absolute cheapest office supplies possible. The waiting area held two simple sofas, a coffee table heavily stacked with Law and Life magazines, so yellow they easily qualified as historical artifacts, plus some silk wall banners from very grateful clients. The newest one was literally from 2 years ago. Business was clearly booming here. From the back office, I heard a woman's voice dissecting someone's legal position with absolute, surgical precision. The exact premise for contract termination requires a fundamental breach by the other party. Your notice lacks facts. They can easily counter-sue. Trust me, watch who opens that door 2 minutes later. Stick with me here. Fu walked out, mid-30s, sleek black suit, hair pinned up, incredibly elegant. Barely any makeup, just clean eyebrows and subtle lipstick screaming, I am a pro. Not here to impress anyone. A classic watch on her wrist. Nothing flashy, but perfect. She honestly looked like she got shipped to the wrong law firm by total accident. This boss lady belonged in a shiny Shanghai skyscraper, not some rusty office sandwiched between a print shop and a liquor store. She spotted me on the sofa, her sharp eyes locked on for exactly 1 second, processing like, why is this 20-something kid sitting here? Attorney Fong, my name is Lu. Wang Dafa actually sent me, I said confidently. Her face? Zero reaction. A complete emotional flatline. Her professional poker face was entirely flawless. Come in. Her office was tiny but totally spotless. A huge solid wood desk took up the whole room. Folders stacked with perfect military precision. Pens color-coded. And the bookshelf was completely stuffed with heavy law books. Some books were read so heavily the spine text was literally rubbed into complete nothingness. Top shelf had 2 photos, one outside a courthouse, one at a lawyer event. In both pictures, she gave that super careful, calculated lawyer smile. She sat down, flipped open her laptop, and pulled up a blank document. She was all business. Dafa called. You are buying Wan Jifu. Need a contract? Yes, I said. Purchase price is set at 15 million. Her typing paused for a split second. She gave me one single look, then stared at the screen. Full payment? Full payment. She didn't question the wild price. Total professional restraint. I respected that. Let's confirm the exact asset scope. Full lawyer mode activated. Wanjifu Shopping Plaza. Building and land rights. Correct. Correct, I nodded. Plus, all fixed assets inside. Shelving, freezing equipment, fire systems, elevators, and the central air conditioning units. Everything bolted down comes with it. Want the Wanjifu trademark? No, I smiled. I am definitely renaming it. Employees? Keep everyone initially. New contracts. We will adjust later based on needs. She finished typing, then completely froze. Now watch closely. Everything changes here. She folded her hands. Mr. Lu, one question. Have you checked Wanjifu's massive debt? My eyebrow twitched in surprise. She pulled a mysterious, thick folder from her heavy drawer. Inside was a huge stack of printouts. I have worked with Dafa for 5 years. I drafted the original Wanjifu lease agreements. I was also the legal counsel for his big real estate projects. She slowly pushed the folder right to the center. This is not me betraying client secrets. This is me making absolutely sure you know what you are walking into. Because signing this blind means you aren't buying a shopping center. You're buying a ticking time bomb. I opened it. Page 1. A court filing notice. A food supplier suing for a massive breach of sales contract. Amount, 1.2 million yuan. Filed last month. Page 2. Another lawsuit from a chemical company for 870,000. I kept flipping wildly. 7 lawsuits, 2 arbitrations, 1 labor complaint. The crazy total? Over 6 million yuan. I slammed the folder shut. That is just what is officially filed, Funu said calmly. There is way more avoiding legal channels. Angry suppliers are demanding their payments informally too. Based on what I know, add another 3 to 4 million. Wang Jifu is carrying roughly 10 million in outside debt. The room fell dead silent. Your 15 million minus 10 million in debt means Wang Dafa actually just pockets 5 million. She stared at me, completely steady. He didn't sell because your negotiation was brilliant. He sold because he desperately needs exactly 5 million to fix another disaster elsewhere. We both thought I was a genius negotiator, right? Nope, he just folded instantly. Turns out, the price was never really about Wang Jifu. It was all about whatever crazy fire Wang Dafa needed to extinguish with exactly 5 million yuan. I was a fire extinguisher, not a buyer. Humbling, but incredibly useful information. Do these massive debts follow the assets or the person? I asked. If you buy his entire company, those hidden debts definitely come with it. It becomes your problem. But if you only buy the physical assets and ignore the company, the debt stays with Wang Dafa, not your problem. Asset acquisition, then. Then we urgently need a strict clause stating you are only buying specified assets, taking absolutely zero responsibility for the original company's mountain of debt. Plus, Wang Dafa must provide a solid written guarantee that these assets are completely free of mortgages, liens, legal seizures, or traps. She immediately started typing again. I leaned back and simply watched her work. The glowing screen lit her face, sharpening every single feature. As she typed, her brow furrowed slightly, lips pressed tight and absolutely intense. Pure concentration. This woman treated contract clauses like a master surgeon treats organs. Every single word mattered. 10 minutes later, she turned the screen. Trust me, we are absolutely going to want to read clauses 4, 7, and 12. Let's dive in. 16 clauses, totally packed, yet perfectly airtight. Clause 4, asset tracking and delivery. Clause 7, payment schedules and timelines. Clause 12, breach penalties. I checked through everything, then boldly tapped Clause 7 to easy payments for me. 10 million upfront today, then 5 million once the property officially transfers over. She nodded, quickly tweaking the digits. Plus, I tapped a spot in Clause 12. The penalty fee here is 10% of total value. Way too low. Make it 30%. She typed a few keys, updated it, then just stared. Did you actually study law before? Nope, but I clearly know my contracts. In that one quick exchange, I knew this woman was truly elite. Super sharp, incredibly thorough, and actually cared about honest work. While this whole entire county just runs on shady scams and cheap little shortcuts. A true pro, treating her job with total, absolute respect. Like spotting a shiny diamond hidden inside plain gravel. Attorney Fong, I suddenly stood. Need the final draft by 6 today? Perfect. Oh, just one more little thing. Got any other huge clients right now? She blinked. Why? My company needs a full-time legal counsel. If you are free, name your absolute price. For the first time since entering, a tiny spark shifted behind those icy eyes. Not exactly shock, more like pure curiosity. Fong Yu leaned back, slowly tapping her desk twice. The ultimate sign for, let me see if you are worth my time. Permanent counsel. Yep, we are tackling massive acquisitions, complex staff contracts, and giant building projects. I seriously need an elite lawyer on standby. Now, watch closely, this gets wild. She grabbed her pen, capping and uncapping it. She paused, thinking, Mr. Liu, let me be totally honest here. I have practiced law in Yinming County for 8 long years. 8 years, under 20 corporate gigs. Mostly, they just hired me to fix messy debt disputes and handle their highly annoying labor complaints. Only 2 groups ever hired me as official legal counsel. One was Wang Dafa at Wanjifu. The other was County Water Company. She slammed the pen down. The reason is super simple. Local businesses are tiny, and their basic understanding of legal needs is even smaller. They just view hiring a lawyer as burning free cash. They only call lawyers when completely drowning in chaos, desperately needing someone to gracefully handle the massive fallout. She paused, choosing words carefully. 70% is civil drama, 20% is divorce cases, barely 10% is actual real business law. I instantly read between the lines. So you are completely available? A tiny, almost invisible nod. What I am saying is, you must choose right now. A useless rubber stamp signing papers looking cute on your letterhead, or a fierce legal partner crushing your real problems. The second, I price accordingly. Annual retainer is 120,000 yuan. Contract reviews, expert opinions, and court battles billed separately. Any big project needing my on-site presence? 2 grand daily. Done deal. She literally blinked. For Fong Yu, that was basically a massive standing ovation of pure shock. No negotiating, Attorney Fong. For truly elite talent, I never bother negotiating. 2 heavy seconds of total silence. Then I will email both the giant acquisition contract and my retainer by 6 sharp. Saves you travel. Absolute perfection. Stepping away, I paused at the door. Hey, Attorney Fong, where are you from? Yinming County. Always lived right here? Her quick typing froze. Nope. Zhengzhou University Law. Handled a huge firm for 3 whole years. Then finally returned. Why come all the way back? She stayed quiet, just dropping her gaze and aggressively typing again. 6 sharp. You feel that mystery, right? I didn't push. Walked out into bright sunlight, spotting electric tricycles parked everywhere. A street vendor tossed spicy chili oil into tiny noodle bowls with the epic swagger of someone who practiced 10,000 times. Just your standard daily Yunming County vibes. Jumping in my car, I sent a text to Lu Yuan and Shen Li. Office meeting now. 6 o'clock. Driving back, I mentally checked my entire roster. Lu Yuan handling finance. Shan Li crushing HR administration. Fong Yu as legal counsel. Plus me makes for people. A massive 100 million capital company run by 4 people. 2 totally new. And 1 outsourced contractor. By any corporate standard, this was a clown show. A wild startup circus. Basically a lemonade stand pretending to be Goldman Sachs. But you gotta build the grand stage before singing the opera. Back at base camp, the lobby had magically evolved while I was away. Shanli magically materialized a shiny water dispenser straight from the Shadow Realm. No clue where she found it, fully loaded with the fresh jug right on our reception desk. Plus, a giant stack of fresh paper printed with Yunning Investment Company and logo. A cool cloud shape with the tagline reading, "Rooted in Yunming, investing completely in the future." I just quietly stared at the logo. Trust me, we are watching a legend begin. She peeked out just a fast software mock-up placeholder. Professional version comes later? Nope. This awesome masterpiece stays for now. Come along with me. I spent the afternoon organizing Wang Dafa's documents, snapping photos of property certificates, equipment lists, and tenant contracts. Then I pulled up commercial real estate case studies online, cross-referencing them perfectly with the Wanjifu situation. I was a social media guy studying corporate mergers on Google. The universe has a wild sense of humor. At 4:30, 2 emails from Fongwu arrived. The acquisition contract and the retainer agreement. I opened the contract, reading every single word. This woman was an absolute machine. 16 clauses, 4 appendices. Every loophole completely sealed shut. Clause 4 perfectly broke down Wang Dafa's entire equipment list item by item, brand, model, quantity, and value. Clause 12 set the breach penalty at 30%. Exactly as requested. Plus an extra provision she brilliantly added. If the seller hides any asset defects, the buyer can demand double repayment of all the funds already transferred over. I definitely didn't ask for that clause. She just added it because she is incredibly good. She was already protecting me from massive problems I hadn't even thought of yet. I think I am falling in love with her legal work. Professionally, obviously. 6 p.m. Lobby. 3 folding chairs arranged in a semicircle around the main reception desk. Water cups by the dispenser next to a bag of discount sponge cakes Lu Yuan excitedly grabbed from. Wanju. That girl physically cannot ever resist a really good bargain. Lu Yuan on the left, notebook open, pen tucked behind her ear. Shinli on the right, phone locked. sitting with the exact posture of someone who takes these meetings incredibly seriously. Even when it is just 3 people and a bag of cheap cake. I proudly stood behind the reception desk, a glass vase of crooked wildflowers at my back. Very corporate, despite having no furniture. Now pay attention, here is the rundown. First, the Wonjafu contract is ready. Signing with Wang Dafa tomorrow. First payment, 10 million. Final payment after the property transfer, 5 million. Lu Yuan, this goes through the company account. She nodded, pen flying quickly across her notebook. Second, after we officially take over Wonjafu, it gets a complete overhaul. Shinli, start researching hiring needs tomorrow. A shopping center needs at least 1 store manager, 3 department supervisors, and 30 ground-level staff. Survey the local labor market and see what we find. Shinli responded immediately, asking about the salary range. Entry level starts at 5,000, 30% above the county average. Supervisors get 7,000. Store manager pay is discussed case by case. She speed-typed notes into her phone regarding recruitment channels. This county does not have active users on major job platforms. I suggested old-school methods, like hanging a huge recruitment banner right outside the Wonjafu building. Run TikTok ads targeting the local area. Make sure to post in WeChat groups for every township in the county. In a place like this, you never recruit through apps. You recruit completely through word of mouth. Find the first batch, and they bring their cousins, their neighbors, their entire family tree. She looked up and nodded. Third, and this is the really big one. I looked at Shinli about the entire Wonjafu renovation. I need you to find a truly top-tier design team. Site survey, blueprints, construction, benchmarked completely against Pangdong Lai, but focusing heavily on service details, space design, and overall quality. I want us surpassing it completely. Budget? Shinli quickly asked. No budget limit, I proudly replied. Wait, what? The lobby went dead silent. Lu Yuan's pen stopped moving. Shinli's thumbs totally froze over her phone screen. You saw that too, right? Even the wildflower seemed to lean forward. 300 million yuan growing by 60 million daily, with literally nothing to spend it on. No, budget limit wasn't generosity. It was simply desperation dressed up as ambition. Midnight system refresh. My nightly allowance from the money gods. Today's deposit, 60 million yuan. Received account balance, 360 million yuan. Tomorrow, I will spend 10 million signing the Wonjafu contract. Sounds like a ton. Until you remember I earned that exact amount back in just 4 hours of sleeping. My bank account was basically a bathtub with the drain closed and the faucet running on full blast. I was desperately trying to scoop water out using a coffee mug. Next morning, 9:30 a.m., second floor of my building. Shinli was there since dawn, transforming the conference room from an abandoned construction site into an actual place where serious business happens. She wiped the table 3 times, dragged 6 chairs up from the dusty basement storage, placed a bottle of water at each seat, and put a contract copy at every single position. She even brought a small potted plant from home, a little green vine thing, setting it right on the table corner. Lu Yuan eyed it. Sis, where did you get that? My house. Makes you think, right? Furnishing an entire corporate headquarters through sheer willpower and personal houseplants. At 9:45, Fangwu arrived. Different outfit today. Wool coat over a navy blue suit, small silver brooch on her lapel. She confidently walked in. All right, you and I are diving into a massive deal. She quickly scanned the entire room, giving one single approving nod. Her absolute highest praise set by the window, and unpacked her briefcase. 3 contract originals, 2 appendices, 1 guarantee lined up perfectly. Her workspace looked like she had aligned every single item using a laser. 10 engine noise echoed below. I checked the window. A dusty gray Toyota Camry pulled in. Mr. Wang Dafa stepped out, totally dressed up. Dark trousers and a crisp white shirt, but that loose collar hung awkwardly. Like the shirt remembered an older, much heavier version of the man wearing it today. He was practically shrinking under his massive problems. Manager Lu trailed right behind him, honestly looking like a captured hostage told to act totally normal. I went downstairs to greet them. Wang Dafa stepped into the lobby, admired the 5-meter-tall ceiling, and nodded approvingly. Nice place, Mr. Lu. We just started. Up in the conference room, Everybody finally took their seats. Wang Dafa faced me. Fong sat to my right. Lu Yuan sat left. Shunli took notes at the end. Lu sat down so incredibly nervously, barely touching the chair, hands guarding his belly like a protective shield. Fong Yu opened the contract. Mr. Wang, here are 16 clauses and for appendices. I can explain the key points or skip what you already reviewed. Skip, Wang Dafa replied. He flipped directly to the last page, checked that signature line, then flipped back to clause 4. The master asset list. 3 pages. Every single item cataloged perfectly, from the cold chain compressor model numbers all the way to the restroom toilet paper holder. Quantities. Attorney Fong was thorough enough to count bathroom accessories. This brilliant woman was terrifying. He stayed silent, flipped to clause 7. Payment terms. 10 million on signing day, 5 million within 3 business days of property transfer completion. He closed the giant contract and leaned back. Attorney Fong's work remains absolutely bulletproof. He glanced right at her, then at me. Let's sign. 3 pens appeared. I signed first, pressing my thumbprint. Wang Dafa took the pen, suddenly stopping. 3 whole seconds just gripping that pen. Staring hard at the paper, Lu leaned over just to peek at the final contract amount. His Adam's apple bobbed like a fishing float. Wang Dafa sighed. He pressed so hard the paper actually dented under his bold characters, like carving his legacy into a closing era. 3 originals. 1 for me, 1 for him, 1 for Fong Yu. Lu Yuan, transfer it. She opened her laptop. Recipient Wang Dafa, amount 10 million. You and I both heard that loud ding. Password confirmed. That tiny chime just carried 10 million yuan across the vast digital universe. Wang Dafa slowly pulled out his phone, staring at the bright screen. The massive string of zeros in that huge deposit notification filled his entire display. He placed the phone back into his pocket and exhaled heavily, like he had been holding his breath for 5 years. Attorney Fong, please handle this property transfer. The materials are ready. Start it tomorrow. The meeting adjourned. Shunli collected the documents. Lu Yuan photographed the official bank receipt. Lu stood up, shaking out his completely numb legs from sitting so awkwardly for 30 minutes. I then escorted Mr. Wang Dafa downstairs to the lobby area. He suddenly paused, looked left, then right, confirming. Everybody else stayed upstairs and we were alone. You and I thought the deal was over. Instead, he sidled up, whispering softly, "Kid, let me tell you something extra." Go ahead. Attorney Fong, she is very. He searched for the perfect word, professional, responsible. You should definitely keep her as your permanent legal counsel. I nodded. Already done, sure. His voice dropped even lower, eyes darting wildly like a spy delivering highly classified intel. Her deep background is totally not simple. How so? She is directly related to Judge Zhao, president of the county court. Some say uncle. Some claim it is her father's sister's very own husband. Nobody knows the exact family relationship, but it is solid. Think about it. A top university law degree, doing amazing at a provincial firm. But she returns to this small county. Why? Because with those epic connections, anything involving local courts gets sorted with just one simple phone call. Unexpected bonus intel. Mentally noted. Wang Dafa saw I barely reacted and assumed I missed his actual point. So, he awkwardly shifted gears into territory I never asked for. Also, one more thing. He cleared his throat, his expression turning suggestive. She is single, never married. Sure, she is slightly older, but look at her. Does she look 30-something? Tell people she is 18, and they would absolutely believe it. Great figure. Fun personality. Never smokes, rarely drinks, never plays mahjong. I have worked with her 5 years and never once saw her grab dinner with a man. A girl like that? Total hot commodity. Mr. Wang, honestly, I stared at him for 2 full seconds. I hired attorney Fong as my legal counsel. Definitely not my personal matchmaker. He chuckled without an ounce of shame. Just saying. A young man like you, building your massive career is highly important. But you must consider personal romance too. Does your mom not nag you? I ignored him, opening the front door. What do you and I make of this? He shuffled to his Camry door, turning back with the epic gravity of a retiring general. Listen, kid, the Yunming County stage is all yours now. My part here is officially over. I smiled, waved goodbye, and watched his dusty Camry fade away around the corner. This guy built the biggest mall in the county, got crushed by the system, and sold it for pennies. Now, he was driving off in a car worth less than my monthly system cash drop. A harsh lesson. But stick with me. You and I are about to watch an empire get built. The agent packed up efficiently. Everything is handled, she said. I will submit the transfer papers tomorrow. Your property certificate will be ready in 3 to 5 business days. I thanked her. Zipping her briefcase, she paused and asked, Mr. Liu, what were you and Wang Dafa whispering about in the hallway? Oh, nothing. Just sharing some operational tips for running Wanjifu. She gave me a long look. A look that practically screamed, I know you are lying because Wang Dafa has the subtlety of a foghorn. But she did not press the issue, just walked right out with her briefcase. Professional until the very end. Right then, Shinli walked up, holding her tablet. Mr. Liu contacted 3 design firms for the Wanjifu renovation. 1 in Yunga, 1 in Wuhan, and 1 in Shuchong. The Shuchong firm is the fastest for an on-site survey. They can actually come tomorrow. She paused for dramatic effect. They literally designed Pangdong Lai, Times Square, and Angel City. Yes, the legendary Pangdong Lai stores. The absolute gold standard of retail paradise. Every single shopping center dreams of being them, and they arrive tomorrow. 0 budget limits. We have the best team and a 360 million yuan war chest, growing by 60 million nightly. Now watch closely. This is exactly where things get wild. Yinming County wasn't ready. The elite Shuchong firm, Dingguan Space, sent 3 top people. Their boss, Ming Yuan, was in his early 40s. Gray jacket over a black turtleneck, with hair that screamed, I designed things you cannot afford. He had the pure, intense energy of a master taking his craft totally seriously. Behind him stood 2 young designers. The guy was carrying heavy surveying gear like a total pack mule. The girl dragged a massive suitcase packed with blueprint tubes, like she was checking into the world's nerdiest hotel. Leaving Shuchong at 7 in the morning, they drove an hour straight to us. Shinli met them and guided them upstairs. She even grabbed breakfast from downstairs, fresh fried dough sticks and spicy pepper soup. Because here, hospitality meant eating street food inside a bare conference room that still smelled completely like wet paint. Ming Yuan sat down, ignoring the food. He scanned the entire room like an architect, judging a building's very soul. A brand new projector, still boxed up. A whiteboard with its plastic protective film untouched. Folding chairs still wrapped in factory plastic. How long has your company been running? He asked. 1 week, Shinli answered calmly. He just nodded in silence. The nod of a man violently recalculating his expectations in real time. At 8:40, I finally arrived. I parked the Maybach, swallowed the last bite of my steamed bun, tossed the wrapper, wiped my hands clean, and headed straight upstairs. First impressions mean everything, even if your breakfast was just a cheap steamed bun. Mr. Liu, this is director. He from Dingguan Space, Shinli introduced. Ming Yuan stood up, studying me like a rare painting he suspected was totally fake. You and I know what he expected, right? Big moguls in tailored suits. Seeing a 20-something kid completely threw him off. This was a first. Director. Great to meet you, I said, shaking his hand. Likewise. He sat down, clasping his hands. Your manager mentioned you want to fully renovate a 6,000-meter shopping center. Benchmarking against Pangdong Lai? Not benchmarking, I corrected, surpassing. He just smiled. The kind of smile a master chef gives a kid who wants to beat Gordon Ramsay. Mr. Liu, we helped design the legendary Pangdong Lai Times Square in Angel City. Honestly, 70% of what makes them special is pure service, philosophy, and their core management system. The design is only 30%. You can make the space beautiful, but without that other 70, it means absolutely nothing. That is exactly why I need your 30% to be completely perfect. The rest is my problem. He pursed his lips and slowly nodded. All right, let us check the site. Soon, 2 cars rolled up to Wanjifu, my Maybach leading the way, his business van trailing behind. A convoy of a guy with infinite cash, leading a guy about to find out why. Ming Yuan stepped out into the lot, staring up at the broken LED sign reading Wanjifu, with its final character missing half its strokes. He did not say a single word, just pulled out his phone and snapped a photo, like an archaeologist documenting ancient ruins. Then he walked inside and instantly turned into someone else. An absolute machine, inspecting every corner of the first floor. Walk, stop, photograph, whip out a tape measure, checking the aisle widths. His two designers trailed right behind him, one shooting laser measurements, the other sketching floor plans. Trust me, we will love the second floor. Stick with me, you and I are about to watch a total masterclass. He stood there, inspecting the empty glass storefronts, scratching the aluminum frame like a top-tier detective. All of this goes. He didn't even turn around. The lead designer marked her tablet. Third floor, the completely deserted kids' play area. He stared at the dusty ball pit and the deflated bounce castle lying in the corner. It looked exactly like a giant trash bag, completely giving up. Crouching down, he checked the structure. Is the floor's load-bearing capacity actually enough for this? Do you have the original blueprints? Yes, I will send them. The entire inspection took nearly 2 full hours. He paced the floors 3 times, photographing absolutely everything, including fire escape widths and electrical panel spots. This guy was absolutely relentless, like an investigator. Back at the main base, tablet linked to projector, photos on screen. Bottom line right up front, he confidently told them. The building's core is fine, solid frame, great ceiling height, good spacing. But honestly, the interior layout is a total disaster. Pointing at a panoramic first floor shot, he explains aisles are just 1.6 meters wide. 2 carts together, and it is absolute gridlock. Shelving is 2.2 meters tall, blocking out natural light. The space feels incredibly suffocating. Swipe to the second floor. Glass partitions chop the space right into tiny boxes. Each shop under 20 square meters. You can barely move inside. This outdated layout belongs in 2010. Definitely not modern retail. Swipe to the third floor. Biggest issues are here. The kitchen ventilation is completely ancient. Cooking fumes blow straight back into dining areas. The kids' zone has absolutely zero separation from the restaurant. Major safety hazard. He turned off the projector. If you just want a fast facelift for the reopening, I can easily do it for under 3 million. Now watch this. To surpass the best, you and I must pay attention. He paused, perfectly understanding theatrical timing. Then we strip it to the bones and rebuild from scratch. So, specific plan? I asked him. Grabbing a marker, he drew a layered rectangle on the whiteboard. Right then. First floor, absolutely no traditional supermarket. Instead, a premium fresh market with the community center. Aisles expanded to 3 meters wide. Zero fixed shelving anywhere. We use movable island displays, rearranging them regularly so everything constantly feels fresh. Then, he quickly drew curves for the second floor section. Second floor, every single partition demolished. Open concept brand area. A scenic corridor runs straight through the center. Zones organized by category, not shops. Third floor is a massive circular experience zone. One half is a themed food street. Not cheap dining, but a beautifully designed culinary district with an amazing atmosphere. The other half gets family entertainment spaces, reading lounges, workshops, and small cinemas. The goal is truly making people stay an extra 2 hours. He confidently set the marker down. Timeline 45 days. Design and supervision fees are 1.2 million. Construction costs separate. Minimum 8 million, nearly 10 million total. Lu Yuan was literally sweating beside me. Her notebook numbers just grew larger with every single sentence. Can you do it in 30 days? I asked. He shook his head. I can easily double the crews and run 24-hour shifts. But custom materials have fixed wait times. Custom materials take 20 days. You and I both know 35 days is a crazy limit. But 35 days is the limit. It is completely done. Examining the whiteboard sketches, I quickly agreed. Design and supervision fees get paid in full upon contract signing. Construction costs release based on project milestones. I will need to draft the formal proposal immediately. Give me exactly 5 days maximum. I will work overtime. After the Dingguan crew finally left, it was already 1 p.m. Lu Yuan grabbed some boxed lunches. The 3 of us crouched around the reception desk, eating exactly like construction workers. Such a glamorous CEO lifestyle. Mid-bite on some braised pork, Shinli suddenly looked up and said, Mr. Lu, I need to tell you something. I just kept chewing. What is it? While you were at Wanjifu earlier, somebody came looking. No name, around 40, black jacket, driving a white Range Rover. He asked the front desk if you were actually here. I told him no. He claimed it was not urgent and would come back another time anyway. But before leaving, he stood in the plaza for 5 minutes photographing this building with his phone. I immediately stopped chewing. Lu Yuan quickly looked right up. A white Range Rover. In this entire county, the number of people who can actually afford that car is extremely small. Shinli pulled up a photo on her phone. Shot right from the second floor window. A pristine white Range Rover parked at the edge of the plaza. License plate clearly visible. Local plates. I totally stared at the photo. So what do you and I make of this? Rich strangers with fancy cars taking photos isn't tourism. Trust me, this mystery is just starting. That is pure reconnaissance. Let's dive right into this mystery. I forwarded the photo to Zhao at the Land Bureau, asking about the car. Under 10 seconds later, my phone completely lit up. He was calling, not texting. He needed to speak right away. Mr. Lu, his voice sounded super tense. How exactly did this guy find you? Well, that felt slightly dramatic. I honestly have no clue, I cheerfully replied, swapping my phone. So who owns this mystery ride? He knew him perfectly. Hu Kuei, big construction materials guy. Zhao dramatically dropped his voice to a total whisper. On paper, it is just building supplies, but his real treasure, every local city project for 10 solid years. New roads, bright school upgrades, and government spaces. He supplies absolutely everything. 15 solid years running this town. Elite connections above, tough guys below. I casually leaned back, happily taking it in. Your giant building purchase made waves. Now, you snatched up the Wanjifu property too. That means the two absolute biggest district hotspots just went to a young, energetic outsider in a single week. Think he will just sit back? Why would he care? Look at the massive Wanjifu makeover plan. Materials, construction, and upgrades. We are talking millions here. The old owner fed every single job straight to Hu Kuei. Now, you stepped in and cheerfully took his whole pie away. It all clicked together perfectly. This town has limited resources. Watch what happens next. I grabbed the biggest slices. And the guy who ruled for 15 years noticed. Thanks for the heads up. I got this. The very next morning at 10 sharp, Hu Kuei returned, bringing some interesting surprises. A bright white Range Rover boldly parked right in the center. His snappy assistant jumped out, grabbing 2 large boxes. Box 1 held legendary Mutai liquor, factory sealed and easily worth 20,000 yuan alone. The ultimate business icebreaker. Box 2 featured premium hairy crab vouchers. An Elite 8 crab holiday gift set. Nothing says best buddies quite like super fancy drinks and luxury seafood platters. I flashed a confident smile in the mirror, heading down. Hu Kuei was waiting right there, rocking the same dark jacket from the photos, but layered over a crisp navy polo. Average height, quite sturdy, with very neat hands. His face had that jolly, round look from endless fancy banquets and business cheers. Not heavy, just looking prosperous. He spotted me approaching and beamed the brightest, most welcoming smile you could possibly imagine. 2 fast steps forward, hand happily outstretched. Mr. Lu, an absolute honor. Welcome, please. He shook my hand while warmly patting my shoulder. That instant friendly vibe veteran businessmen use. Like a superpower. Missed you yesterday. Had to swing by today to celebrate your amazing new headquarters. He signaled his assistant. The kid carefully brought the boxes inside, placing them on the front desk like precious ancient artifacts. Just a tiny welcome gift, nothing major. I eyed the 20,000 yuan mutai and fancy crab vouchers. You and I know exactly what this means. Totally casual. Mr. Hu, you're way too kind. I cheerfully accepted, but left them sitting there. Let us chat upstairs, then. Xinlei brought fresh tea, taking his cup. His eyes lingered on her briefly before snapping back. Interesting detail. Mr. Lu, incredibly impressive for your age. He held his fancy cup. 20 years working. Never seen a youngster secure a huge asset like this new city building. You are too sweet. Not flattery, honestly. Setting his cup down, he smiled. Yesterday, I chatted with your lovely receptionist, and asked a few questions around. Learned you boldly bought this place, plus the Wanjifu property. I happily sipped my tea. Cool as a cucumber. 15 million for Wanjifu is fair. That mall was struggling. Stepping in was basically rescuing them. He memorized the exact price tag. Around here, juicy gossip flies at lightning speed. My office deal definitely leaked through official channels. The Wanjifu scoop definitely spilled through the old boss, or his very chatty manager. Secrets literally do not exist here. Mr. Hu, guessing this is not just a friendly visit. Please speak freely. I love a guy who cuts to the chase. He leaned in closely, hearing about Wanjifu renovations. That is indeed the grand plan. Makeovers require serious materials. Cement, steel, everything comes through me here. Plus an elite crew. So, what do you and I think? The real game begins now. He spread one hand wide. 5 fingers. 50% off. I will give Mr. Lu everything at half price. Stick with me here. Half price materials would literally cut my costs in half. For normal business owners, it is like finding a coupon for reality itself. Absolutely irresistible. But I didn't make 60 million a day by acting stupid. Wait, actually, I did get it for no reason. But still, free lunches do not exist in business. They just hide the bill. I appreciate the offer, Mr. Hu, but 50% off. What do you get out of it? He was waiting for exactly this question. Sitting up straighter now, hands resting on his knees. Mr. Lu, 20 years in building materials. Half the roads, bridges, and buildings here used my stuff. But business dried up. Fewer infrastructure projects and a totally dead real estate market. My production capacity is just sitting idle. Workers still need paychecks every month. Whether we have orders or not, you are investing in this county. Building, renovating, constructing. The volume will be huge. I give you half-price materials. You give me a long-term contract. My lines stay busy, your costs drop, and everybody wins. Watch closely now. The logic made perfect sense. But here is the hidden catch. If I signed an exclusive supply contract, Hua's materials would end up inside every wall, floor, and ceiling of every single thing I built. Quality, he decides. Delivery schedule, he decides. Payment terms, he decides. At 50% discount was just bait. The trap was still in his pocket, waiting. I stood up, walked to the window, and turned around with a pleasant smile. Mr. Hu, I truly appreciate this offer. 50% off is honestly very tempting. But although my company is brand new, everything follows proper procedures. For a procurement project this large, I cannot skip public bidding. My future board of directors would not accept it. Finance and legal teams would never approve it. His frozen smile stayed put. But his eyes did not. How about this? I will prepare our procurement specifications as soon as possible. And Mr. Hu's cooing building materials is absolutely welcome to participate in our competitive bidding. With your capabilities, winning this contract should be an absolute certainty, right? Public bidding. His eyeballs did one full rotation behind that icy smile. Yes. He stood up, brushing invisible dust off his pants. The classic gesture of a man buying time to think. Mr. Lu's approach is highly professional. He walked to the door, suddenly stopped, turned around. But Mr. Lu, being new in town, you might not be aware. Construction projects in Yinming County have never gone through any formal bidding process. I turned to face him directly. They didn't before because nobody ever showed up insisting on it. We locked eyes for 1 intense second. Then he grinned again, slapped the door frame, and said, "Interesting. I will wait for your bidding announcement." His leather shoes clicked sharply down the stairs and across the lobby. An engine roared from the plaza, gradually fading into the distance. Shinli appeared in the doorway, leaning against the frame. He is gone. Gone. What about the matai and the crabs? Send them right back. He didn't leave an address. I thought for a second. Just keep them then. We will open the matai at the company dinner later. Find out his company details and send him an equivalent gift in return. Never owe anyone anything. Got it? She paused. One more thing. That Wanja property transfer. Attorney Fong just sent a message. The housing bureau says they cannot process it right now. My feet stopped. Why? Shinli silently handed me her phone. Fong's message. Just one line. The land under Wanjifu currently has an uncleared mortgage. Registration. Mortgage holder Kuing Building Materials Group Company Limited. I stared at those words. Kuwait's company is holding a mortgage on my brand new purchase. You and I both see the trap now. The land I bought for 15 million had Hukua's name chained to it. That 50% discount. The matai. The friendly shoulder pat. The let us do business together. Smile. He didn't come here just to be my supplier. He came here to show me. He was already standing right on my throat. I stared blankly at that one line on the phone screen for 5 full seconds. Mortgage holder Kuing Building Materials Group Company Limited. Kuwait's company. Sitting on my land like a toad on a lily pad. I handed the phone back to Shinli, walked to my desk, sat down, and picked up my tea. It had gone completely cold, bitter as revenge. Very fitting. Lu Yuan poked half her body out of the finance office. She had obviously seen the message too. Bro, what does this actually mean? Wang Dafa mortgaged Wanja Fu directly to Hui. I didn't answer. I called Fong Yu. 2 rings. Attorney Fong. The mortgage situation. What did you find? Her voice was steady as a heartbeat monitor. 2 years ago, Wang Dafa needed 300,000 to renovate the 3rd floor restaurants. He was short on cash, borrowed 3 million from Hukuai, and put Wanjifu's land rights up as direct collateral. Has the loan been repaid? That is the actual problem. A pause. I went to the housing bureau today and pulled the mortgage file. Trust me, this is crazy. The deadline was last June. If Wang Dafa repaid it, he should have cancelled the mortgage registration afterward. Let's dive into this together. Did he dodge payment or skip cancelling? I called Wang Dafa. Wang insists the cash was returned forever ago. But Hu Kui is absolutely stalling on the official cancellation. Removing a mortgage takes both sides showing up to sign. If the holder ghosts you, you are stuck. You absolutely cannot cancel it all by yourself. The mystery was solved. That 3 million was definitely already paid back. But with Hu Kui refusing to sign, that mortgage locked up Wanjifu's land like a giant vault. Without those papers, the property transfer was totally frozen. A frozen transfer means my 10 million down payment just becomes a massive accidental gift for Wang's retirement. Yesterday, this guy arrived with fancy gifts, patting my shoulder, acting like my best friend, offering wild discounts like a generous hero. But today, his tricky company completely blocks my entire property transfer. Sweet treats first, a trap. Second, classic move. Honestly, I'd be super impressed if I wasn't the target. Attorney Fong, is there a legal trick to force this cancellation? Yes, but it takes forever. She never sugarcoats anything. If Wang Dafa brings perfect bank records proving the debt is gone, we can totally ask the court to declare that annoying mortgage officially wiped out. Then we just use that awesome ruling to cancel it ourselves. But normal rules take 3 whole months. Even the fast track takes 6 weeks, which is way too long. Any faster options? We could transfer with the mortgage attached. It is a newer rule, but it definitely works. The catch is, even after the transfer, the mortgage totally stays. So, I would own a building with Hukui's name still stamped all over the land below, like buying a castle where your rival keeps a key. No thanks. Now, pay attention. Here is where it gets interesting. She offered one final trick. If Wang's records are spotless, I can freeze Hukui's mortgage rights immediately and demand a super fast court decision, all at the exact same time. How fast? 7 business days if the court agrees. Let us do it. But remember, this early freeze requires posting a solid safety deposit first. Usually the full disputed amount, 3 million. 3 million is totally fine. Then, she paused for one dramatic beat. Hu Kui has massive influence here. If he pulls strings, our super fast track might get bumped right back down to the incredibly slow, standard process. I gripped my phone, looked out the window, and reflected on every clue Wang Dafa shared at that tea house. Then I asked the big question. Attorney Fong, how well do you know Judge Zhao, the court president? Complete silence for a second. She did not even ask how I discovered her secret connection to the judge. She was brilliant. You and I both know small-town secrets melt faster than ice cream in summer. She calmly replied, he is my Uncle Ian's husband. Short and sweet. Then I need you to make a quick phone call, Mr. Liu. Her voice stayed incredibly steady. I can make that call. But please understand, this is not about playing dirty at all. It is just boosting efficiency. Legally, cases with crystal clear facts and rock solid evidence absolutely deserve that speedy process. That is what it's for. I understand. I will handle the repayment documents. I am calling Wong right now to organize every single bank record. If everything looks absolutely flawless, we launch our official case by the day after tomorrow. Thank you. It is my job, totally covered by the fee. I happily hung up and tossed my phone onto the desk. Lu Yuan marched in, firmly holding her notebook. Brother, Hu Kui did this on purpose, right? Obviously. But what is his grand plan? Just to sell his materials? I shook my head. Materials are merely the very first step. What he truly craves is total control. A shiny new guy arrives in town, just tossing cash everywhere. He would be a terrible rival if he did not try to grab a piece. His entire network would totally laugh at him for missing out. So, what is the plan? Surrender? I burst out laughing. When have you ever seen me back down from a challenge? Fair point. She frowned. But you have never faced someone like this. This is not just typing fun internet articles back in Shanghai. Tapping keyboards. Hu Kui plays tough. You push. He pushes harder. Which is exactly why I am not pushing back directly. I am letting Fong Yu handle this through the courts. 7 days is plenty. Her uncle is Judge Zhao, the big boss of the county court. Lu Yuan stared at me. Your connections. Is that absolute genius planning, or just dumb luck? A little luck. She closed her notebook, thought about it, then snapped it open. What about Wan Jifu? For these next 7 days, the design squad is already sketching up amazing blueprints. We absolutely cannot just sit around here doing nothing. We are not resting. I walked right back to my desk. The main build waits for permits, but prep starts now. Trust me, you are gonna love what happens next. Time to clear the junk and smash those walls. Map out all the electrical, plumbing, and air lines. Get that design work flowing. Stick with me here. There was no way I would let his ego freeze my project. I turned to Shinli, who was silently absorbing everything like a perfectly dressed sponge. Shinli, find Hu Kui's corporate address. Return the Ma Tai and the crab vouchers untouched. Send them exactly as received. Also include an equivalent corporate gift from us. A standard business courtesy package. I paused. Do not say a single word during delivery. Just drop the stuff and leave. He will understand perfectly. In local corporate warfare, returning a bribe with a polite smile is the classiest way to say, I see your little game. I am not playing, and I am not scared. The Ma Tai and those crabs were heading straight home. And Hu Kui was about to learn the new guy in Yunming County had a lawyer whose uncle completely controlled the courthouse. Checkmate in 7 days. Hopefully, Shinli moves fast. By 3 p.m., she was out the door carrying both boxes. The Ma Tai and crab vouchers stayed perfectly sealed in original wrap. She also bought a matching gift from our side. 1 box of Wana liquor and 2 cartons of premium smokes. Equal value. 0 debt. Absolutely no obligation. A total power move. Kuwaiting building materials set right on Industrial Road. Located deep in the old town. Massive trucks parked out front, with huge piles of bricks and steel everywhere. Giving off total. I supply this whole county, and you cannot stop me. Energy. The guard blocked her path. She just said, Yunning investment. He made a quick call. 2 minutes later, access granted. The front desk guy wearing a gray Kuwaiting logo polo told her Hu Kui was not around. No problem at all, Shinli replied. Now watch this epic flex. She dropped the Ma Tai and crab vouchers on the counter, placing our gift alongside them. These were sent to us by your boss. Mr. Who? Our Mr. Lu appreciates the thought, but company rules strictly forbid accepting outside gifts. Returning the originals. The package beside it is our courtesy gift. Please pass everything along. Then she spun around and left without another word. Looking in the rearview mirror, that desk kid was already panicking on the phone. News in Yunming County travels at gossip speed, basically faster than light. By 4 p.m., Zhao was already calling my phone. Mr. Lu, you actually returned Hu Kui's Ma Tai. Yep, the whole county knows now. His voice dropping to a frantic whisper. Hu Kui's crew started posting on their WeChat. No names dropped, but everybody knew the target, saying things like, "Some newbies just do not understand the rules. Refuse a toast, drink a penalty." This reaction was entirely expected. See, in local corporate politics, returning a gift is way worse than just refusing it. If you politely refuse early, they can still save face. Maybe they have a real policy, but returning it untouched in original packaging? That loudly screams, your cheap gift is not even worth opening. You and I know he wouldn't accept this, but I needed him uncomfortable. Comfortable enemies are patient. Uncomfortable people rush, and rushing causes huge mistakes. Thanks, Section Chief. I hung up. Lu Yuan strolled in, holding 2 water cups, sat down, crossed her legs, and started furiously cracking sunflower seeds like an adorable little snacking machine. Bro, honest question, are you not worried? Hu Kui has survived here for 20 years. He is deeply connected to police, city management, the housing bureau, everybody. And you just loudly slapped his face with his own matai. What if he plays dirty? I thought about it. Within the rules, he can bring whatever he wants. I will match him move for move. But if he steps outside those lines, he better think very carefully about who he is actually fighting. Cool, cool, cool. She casually handed me a pile of shelled sunflower seeds. Honestly, this girl's ultimate talent might just be elite snack preparation. I gladly took them. Oh, one more thing. We are going to be handling a lot of aggressive corporate acquisitions moving forward. As the CFO, you must conduct extreme due diligence on every single deal. Deep background checks, hidden debt checks, absolutely everything. I do not want another surprise mortgage popping up. Next morning, 9 a.m. sharp, Fong Yu strutted into the Yunming County People's Court rocking an all-black suit, carrying her heavy briefcase like a literal lethal weapon. The filing hall featured 4 windows, but only 2 were open, with 0 lines. The local judicial system was honestly as dead as the county economy. Whole months could pass without any real cases. She submitted her legal materials at window 2. The filing judge was an older guy nearing retirement. He slowly flipped through the pages. Plaintiff, Lu Ming. Defendant, Kuwaiting Building Materials Group. Cause, confirmation of mortgage extinguishment. Amount, 3 million. He looked up over his reading glasses directly at Fong Yu. Attorney Fong, this case is clear. Evidence is fully sufficient. It perfectly qualifies for expedited adjudication. She confidently slid a thick stack of bank statements and receipts across the counter. The defendant's massive loan has been fully repaid. Here are the repayment records, dates, amounts, and the receiving party. Everything matches perfectly. We are simultaneously applying for pre-litigation asset preservation. Guarantee funds are fully ready. Trust me, you will love what happens as he flips those records. Stick with me here, because Fong Yu's identity is an absolute legend inside this very courthouse. Silence. Judge Zhao's niece, top law school graduate, 8 years back home, never lost a single case. Unbeatable. Not through connections. She locked down every single piece of evidence so perfectly before filing, that even if someone wanted to help the rival, they had 0 openings to work with. Ironclad. She didn't just build cases, she built pure fortresses. Accepted. The old man squared the documents perfectly. The pre-litigation ruling drops this afternoon. Expedited track, ASAP. Fong Yu gave a quick nod, turned on her heel, and confidently walked out the door. She texted me one simple line. Pre-litigation ruling drops this afternoon right at our building. I was downstairs with Shun Li, reviewing the Wanja prep plan. She drew a massive chart on the whiteboard. 35 days of intense renovation, split into 6 phases. Clearing, demolition, electrical, plumbing, structural reinforcement, main construction, equipment setup, and final finishing touches. The first 3 phases can run parallel alongside the actual property transfer, she said. Pointing at week 1, clearing and demolition absolutely skips ownership. Plumbing surveys stay non-destructive. 0 permits needed. The heavy work demanding full transfer starts at structural reinforcement. Everything after that, I did the mental math. If Fong Yu secured the court ruling in 7 days, the property transfer takes 3 to 5 more. 12 days maximum until Wonju was officially mine. 12 plus 23 construction days equals 35. Exactly. Hing Yuan's crazy deadline. Razor-thin margins. But we survive. Do we have manpower? I asked her. Demolition crew is ready. 12 guys. Starting tomorrow. She confidently crossed it off the whiteboard. Plumbing and electrical survey team arrives from Shuchong the day after tomorrow. My phone buzzed. Fong Yu's message. I quickly read it and handed the phone to Shen Li. She smirked. Attorney Fong works incredibly fast. I pocketed my phone. Now watch closely, because we're about to see exactly how Hu Kuoya reacts to the court's lightning speed. His explosive reaction came way faster than expected. 5:20 p.m. Kuing Building Materials Office. Hu Kuoya took a phone call from the court. The pre-litigation preservation order was official. His precious mortgage rights on Wanjifu's land were completely frozen. Basically, from this exact moment, he couldn't exercise his mortgage, transfer it, or use it for any leverage. His little trap hammered into Wanjifu's land was now fully encased in solid judicial concrete. You feel that, right? He can't pull it out or hammer it deeper. Complete. Checkmate. Hu Kuoya aggressively hung up. His overflowing ashtray held 5, 6, maybe more crushed cigarettes. A pure graveyard of stress. He grabbed his phone, scrolled down to a nameless contact, saved only as a number, and dialed. 3 rings. Old Hu? What's up? Ma Yongtiles clicked loudly. Brother Hang, there is an expedited case at the court today. Can you slow it down? Pure silence. Hit the line. Those Ma Yong sounds continued for just a second, then completely stopped. What case? Mortgage extinguishment dispute. 3 million. The plaintiff is some young guy, Lu. The lawyer is Fong Yu. The Ma Yong sounds went absolutely dead. 2 heavy seconds passed. The voice on the other end dropped low. Fong Yu is on this? Yeah. A long, heavy sigh came through the phone. The sigh of a man realizing his friend was asking him to literally step into traffic. Old Hu? This one absolutely cannot help with. Click. Somewhere in Yinming County, a guy with a white Range Rover and 20 years of deep connections sat alone in his smoky office. For the first time ever, he reached out to his network, only to find absolutely nobody home. Meanwhile, I was chilling inside, eating sunflower seeds, patiently waiting with the lawyer whose uncle ran the courthouse, plus 360 million yuan in my bank account. So what do you and I learn? The universe clearly picks obvious favorites.